evening, everybody. It's the Cryptid Huntress. I'm Jessica Jones. Thank y'all so much for being here tonight. We're going on the hunt this evening with my good buddy, Mr. Gary Spikes Sr. And I could not be more excited to have him here tonight. And also, we may just have a special segment tonight where we have some very special boots on the ground field researchers in the Uwharrie National Forest tonight who have been surrounded by Bigfoot this evening. And they may come on live for just a few minutes later tonight from base camp. And I've got some pictures they just sent me of some eye shine and stuff. And so we may be talking to them just a little bit tonight as well. This is going to be an action-packed, jam-packed, full show tonight. And so thank you guys so much for being here. My goodness, that chat is off the chain tonight. I just noticed how many people are in here, and that chat is moving. Okay, so thank y'all so much. Thank you to all my moderators for being here, and thank you to all my new subscribers. If anyone was not aware, and I bet none of y'all are aware of this probably, but I had a video that went viral this week, which was weird. I've never had, and it's viral by my standards. I've hit about almost 2 million views just on Instagram on this one video. And guess what? It had nothing to do with cryptids at all. Of course it didn't. But Barry and I had a little clip talking about that gravity, whatever thing that's going on. See, I don't even know what it is. In August, and yeah, so it went, we have a couple of viral videos. It went kind of viral over on TikTok and Instagram and stuff. So yeah, that happened. So thank you. I do have a lot, like I said, I have a lot of new subscribers today, and I think it's because of that silly little video that we made. And so hey, if you didn't think that you should do short videos and do whatever, just say the dumb things, y'all, because that might be what goes viral. Say all the dumb stuff, okay? Because that's what we do sometimes. And so that happened. So anyways, shout out to everybody who saw that. My sister even was going nuts because famous people were commenting on my post. And yeah, so anyways, I guess it makes me cool. Okay, so all right. But anyways, y'all go check that out if you get a chance. And yeah, be part of the movement, I guess. It's wild. Okay, well, if you guys would like to follow along with all of my shows and stuff, please go over to my website. That's thecryptidhuntress.com. Of course, please become a subscriber over here on YouTube. I'm also on Rumble, and you can find all my podcasts on all of the podcasting platforms, including Spotify and the others. Okay, so, but it's all over on the cryptidhuntress.com. And thank you so much for all the support, y'all. And also, I do have a Patreon. If you'd like to support my work, just go over to patreon.com/the Cryptid Huntress. And so thank you for that as well. And I have a shop. It's called War Woman Goods over on Etsy. Okay, so that is that. Okay, well, let's get to our show, shall we? Okay. Because I have Gary Spike Sr. here, y'all. On this episode, we are going on the hunt with Oklahoma native Gary Spikes Sr. to discuss his most recent encounters with Dogman and Bigfoot in Alabama and Oklahoma and all over the place. Gary had one of his first Bigfoot encounters in 1977 while he and his kids were camping. An intense encounter which he believes happened because he encroached on Bigfoot's territory. His sightings and encounters continue to present day and hit much closer to home. In fact, he's had several daylight and nighttime sightings of Bigfoot and Dogman on his property in Oklahoma. From discovering them watching his grandchildren and slapping on the side of his home at night, which could be kind of scary, to experiencing mind speak, to having them pray with him during an emergency, Gary believes he has been protected by them throughout his entire life. They may have saved his life once again since the last time he's been on the show, and we're going to hear about it tonight. And you guys, please help me welcome to one of the coolest dudes in the Bigfooting community, and you guys will all recognize him from being the top moderator on all the channels over here, right, Gary? Including mine. I couldn't leave him out over on my channel, y'all. I just love Gary to death, and he makes some badass walking sticks. Please help me welcome to the show, Mr. Gary Spikes Sr. Hey, Gary.
Hi, Jessica. Hope you're well.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, of course. Of course, I've been dying to have you back on the show. It's been, I mean, we had the longest show on my channel in history the last time you came here. 3 hours.
Yeah, it was pretty long that night. I lost my voice before we got through.
I did too. I did too, Gary, and it was all worth it. It was. We had so much to talk about that time. The last time you came on, and I cherish that. It was so great. So thank you for coming back.
It's my pleasure.
Wonderful.
I try to make your show every time I can, but a lot of times I can't make it.
Well, you're a busy man. You are a moderator for a lot of these channels that deal with cryptids and paranormal and all the other stuff. And so I am honored to have you as one of my moderators as well. But you're not only a moderator, you're my friend. And we have a common love, and that is Bigfooting. And a lot of mutual friends. And we've actually got to spend some time together out in Alabama at the Talladega National Forest. And I had a blast getting to hang out with you.
Yeah, it was fun down there that last year. And we had activity like you wouldn't believe that weekend too. We had one run across the road in broad daylight.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's actually the same place where where one of my teams had gone out there. We went out there and just to do a little camping one weekend. And Wendell was there. I see Wendell in the chat. Hey, Wendell. And hey, Wendell, I just saw you. I need to get Wendell back on the show too. But Wendell was out there, and Miss Tracy was there, and Brian. And we had some not only Bigfoot activity, but we had Dogman activity out there. I'm pretty positive. And not only at that same spot, we had a tree knocked over at our camp and all sorts of, it kind of got a little chaotic out there the last night that we were out there. So a lot of very, very intense activity. That's in Alabama, y'all. And who'd have thunk it, Gary?
Yeah, it's
so much.
And like you said, it's not just Bigfoot. It is also Dogman. We've seen them there. And there's also an evil spirit there too. Well, it's not a spirit. I won't say what it is, because then you say that name, it pulls them to you. But it is very evil, and it is hanging out right there and over at Gristmill both.
Ooh, well, the gristmill can't be too far from there, I would think.
And right behind the gristmill is the old army depot, and that's where it lives, is there on that old army depot.
Why am I not surprised? Military involvement of some sort.
Well, this isn't military. Didn't make this. I'll say this much about it. It is a person that is turned into an evil creature. Let me put it that way.
So, like what I like to say, a S walker. We don't say the name, but we'll say a S walker. No. Something like that. No, something different.
W ends with the O.
Oh, the big W.
Yeah.
Okay, the big W. Okay, I know I got a country accent, y'all. So I try not to get too country, but the big W, not W. I say W. That is terrifying.
There's a lot involved, a long story with that. I mean, I'm willing to tell the story. I just can't mention any names because I don't have their permission. And well, last June, when we were down there, the first night I got there, it was just me and one other person. And that spirit came up to my tent. I could feel it and knew it was there. And I told it, I said, you may kill me, but I will fill you full of lead. That's what I said. It's not really a spirit. It is actually a creature.
Oh.
I think that's what scared it off. I think the Bigfoot scared it off. The third time it came back, and I said the same thing. I had my pistol in my hand ready to open up. And they scared it off again. Well, a few nights later, there was a person there that I was talking to, and all of a sudden, a steer took over and started speaking through me, speaking to this person. And I got so weak that two other people had to hold me up. I couldn't even stand up.
Oh, no.
When part of it was finished, they set me down. And then I turned, and the steer spoke a little bit more to that person. Well, from that point on, I believe that's why this last trip to Alabama at the grist mill, it is why it came after. And I'll tell that story in a few minutes.
Well, can I ask you real quick? Okay, so for the audience, see, I know why you were at the grist mill, and I know what the grist mill is, and our good friends Mark and Rebecca Green had a Christmas party, and I'm so sorry I wasn't able to make that. I wanted to be there for that. Actually, I was going to bring my mom and my son to that, and we ended up not being able to make it, but they were having a Christmas party in December at the grist mill. That's in Alabama. It's an actual old mill. And so it's a campground as well, right? And maybe there's some boogers out there, as we call them, Bigfoots.
It's more than just boogers.
Really? What did you encounter out there, Gary?
The first night, it was just, and I do have permission to use these two names.
Okay.
Robin and I were the only ones there. I was setting up my tent when she got there. It had been raining all day. I helped her set her tent up across the road from where I was at. And you've got the picture of the tent, of my tent, right there by the creek. Well, I was getting the fire going. Yeah, that's my tent right beside the creek. And to the front of my tent and across the road was her tent. And this is important. You'll see why in a little bit. We were out to fire. I was tending the fire, and she was sitting there. And I said, Robin, there's one to my left across the creek. It was a Bigfoot. And I kept on going with the fire. I said, there's a Dogman straight in front of you across the creek. And she said, I see it. She actually told me to come over and stand by her and look, but I couldn't see it. I can feel them, and they tell me where they're at sometimes, but I don't see them at all times. And she could actually see that, and it was stepping out and looking at her from behind the tree. And it did that several times. A little bit later, I said, Robin, there's one up in the trees over there at the same place. And she looked up and she said, there it is. I can see it up in the trees. And it was a Dogman too. That was the first day we were there. Well, that night, we kept hearing rocks being thrown into the creek. And then even during the day, they were throwing rocks into the creek. But everybody started rolling in Friday. And then Friday night, I woke up and looked at my phone to see what time it was. It was 1:30. And my pillow was soaking wet. My CPAP mask was full of water. And my CPAP machine is on the floor 2 foot below me. But it pumped up so much water, it was drowning me, literally drowning me.
That is so dangerous, Gary.
Well, I pulled it off, turned it off, and right as I did, I heard footsteps behind my tent. between the creek. Well, the next morning, Robin come out of her tent. I waited till I heard her moving around. And then I went outside and started tending the fire. And she come over there and she said at 1:30 during the night, and I remember these times. When I looked, it was 1:30, and she said it was 1:30 when she looked. She said she heard ka-plunk, ka-plunk, ka-plunk. 3 steps coming through the creek. It wasn't rocks, it was steps. It come up behind my tent, woke me up to keep me from drowning. She said she heard 2 moans. If she had heard more, she was going to come check on me, but I quit moaning. That's because I woke up and pulled the mask off. It went around behind her tent, and then walked behind my truck in front of my tent, and that's where all those tracks I sent, the pictures of those tracks I sent you came from. Right out in front of my tent. We found them that morning. But we were sitting there talking at the fire, and my phone rang. Between the two, and they're 3 foot apart. That individual track that you haven't pulled up yet, that one, 22 inches long, according to that tape picture.
That's a big one. That's a big fella right there, or lady.
And while we were talking, my phone rang.
Who called you?
I answered the phone, and it was my friend Jean. She's in chat.
Hey, Jean.
She got to remember, she's 1,000 miles away in Upper Michigan. Before I could say a word, I just said, "Hey, Jean." She said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, what's up?" She said, "At 1:30 your time, I woke up with my lungs burning and couldn't breathe. And I knew immediately it was you. So I asked the big man to check on you and started praying." And
wow.
Now you got, like I said, that's 3 of us, all 3 of us at 1:30 in the morning. And I told her what happened. She said, "I knew something bad was happening because I woke up with my lungs burning and couldn't breathe."
It seems like y'all have a some sort of a psychic connection there.
We do. And the funny thing is, my clan, my alpha talks to her, and her alpha talks to me. And we don't know why, but that's usually the way it does. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I hear my alpha sometimes, and I talk to them all the time. But all this happened Friday night. And then all day Saturday, we were hearing rocks hit the creek.
Wow.
Hearing howls during the night, too.
Howls, like dog howls or Bigfoot howls?
Bigfoot howls. They were way too loud and powerful to be a dog.
Oh, man.
Friday night, during the fire pit. Like I said, everybody that was camping there and most of the people that came for the fire pit saw those tracks. Yeah, in the pictures, they don't look like much, but you could really see them when you're standing right there.
That's a pretty good picture right there, actually, Gary.
Well,
that's pretty impressive.
I have a lot of people tell me they don't see nothing, but that's, how it is with people.
Well, they're not trackers, probably. They don't know what to look for.
Yeah. But
that's okay. It takes a special eye to be able to see things sometimes. I'm just saying. When it comes to track lines, things like that.
But Wendell got cold and left early.
He did. He got cold. Wendell got cold and left early. Come on, Wendell. Come on, Wendell. You got to toughen up, buddy.
And the fire, it was
I'm just kidding.
Heater.
You know what? Can I tell you something, Gary, real quick? When I was up at Uwharrie, North Carolina, about 3 weeks ago, and I woke up. I was camping out. It got so cold on that Saturday night that I was there. I woke up with my eyelashes frozen and my contact lenses. I slept in my contact lenses, and they had fogged over because it was. I guess I slept with my eyes open. I don't know what happened, but my contacts were frozen too. That's how cold it was out
Yeah.
there. Yeah,
Not quite that cold at the Christmas dinner, but it was cold.
yeah. Cold is cold though, man. It's very uncomfortable. It takes a tough person to be able to, and I'm not saying I'm that tough, but
yeah,
is it crazy or tough? I don't know. There's a fine line, a thin line between crazy and tough.
we were sitting around the campfire singing Christmas carols and or playing them. Evidently, they did not like one of them because as soon as it finished, and I'm not the only one that heard it. There was a lot of people there at the fire heard it. Kaplunk, kaplunk. Rocks hit that creek. So evidently they didn't like it.
Somebody was singing off key. That's what it sounds like. Somebody was out of tune.
Yeah. Had 2 or 3 people turn and look at me and said, I heard it.
Oh my gosh. So they started throwing stuff. They were just trying to get your attention.
Well, it was all weekend like that. I mean, all weekend. And then Sunday morning is when everybody was going to pull out. Well, again, I had trouble with my CPAP. My inverter kept going, kicking off. The alarm kept going off on it. At 6 o'clock in the morning, I woke up with that alarm going off, so I turned it off because when the CPAP quits, believe me, you know it because you can't breathe. Well, they were throwing rocks. They threw rocks into the creek again. Right as I woke up and hit that off, and I said, "I'm awake, but thank you." And I seen I had a picture coming to my mind of a smile. I said, if y'all don't quit that, you're going to have a bridge across this creek that you can walk across without getting wet because they threw so many rocks in there over the weekend. And they smiled again. And I started to lay back down and go to sleep because it wasn't even daylight yet. And all of a sudden, a picture come into my mind that made me get up out of that bed and get dressed and go start tending the fire.
Was it scary? Was it something bad?
Yeah. It was that same thing that happened that evil that was out there in June. It was the exact same picture they put in my mind in June, and they put it in my mind again. So it was what was there making my CPAP mess up. And the only thing I can figure is it's trying to get even with me for messing up his plans in June.
Well, can we back up just a little bit and discuss that just briefly of exactly what happened in June? Now, there was a point where you were camping out over at the hunt camp over at Talladega National Forest, and you had a health scare out there.
And
That was before June because I saw you in June out there, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that when I got to meet you?
Yeah,
Okay.
that year ago, October. Yeah, if it hadn't been for, well, there's no other way to say it. If it hadn't been for the Bigfoot, I wouldn't be here now. I would have died right there. When they, luckily, we had a nurse there, and I passed out. I was standing there talking to a guy, and I just literally passed. And he started hollering for help, and they tried to pick me up, and I passed out again. When that up there, he seen what I looked like, and he told Mark to call an ambulance. When Mark called an ambulance, they took me to the clinic here in town, and my potassium level was critically low. It's supposed to be over 4, and I was down to 1.7. They wanted to put me in the hospital, and I said no. I said, if I'm going in the hospital, they give me a liter of potassium there. I said, if I'm going in the hospital, I'm going home. So about that time, Kumbo called. He said, we're coming to get you. Kumbo and his wife come pick me up at the clinic. Took me back out there, and everybody tore my tent down for me. I was planning on staying another day, but I didn't get to. Kumbo and his wife, this is how good of people they are. They drove me all the way back to Oklahoma.
12 hours?
13,
14?
12, 13 hours.
Good Lord. Good grief.
That
was very kind of them.
Oh, it is. They're very good people.
Most people I've met through Bigfooting are very good people. Very good people. Ones we meet in person.
Plug in their camper, and they stayed here for 2 days because I immediately left them here, and I went to the hospital here. I was in the hospital for 2 days. They put 11 liters of potassium in me to get my potassium level back up.
Oh my gosh!
And
you were lucky. You were lucky you got back there. And
what did you say?
I said you're lucky you got back there and was able to get the treatment back at home, and that was very sweet of Kumbo to help you and his wife, and that's a miracle. I wanted to ask you about the connection though between like the Bigfoots and what happened to you, because I feel like there was some kind of a connection, almost like your life was saved by some of the Bigfoots, maybe the big man.
It wasn't the big man, but the big man had the alpha down there watching over me. My big man was here. Now, when I go to the Red River or anywhere close, they go with me, and they've saved my life down there at the Red River.
Is that in Oklahoma?
Yeah, that's what we call Brown Springs here in Oklahoma.
Oh, Brown Springs. We talked about Brown Springs when I used to do a bunch of shows with Tex from Texas Front Porch. He used to talk about, and that's how I met you actually. Yep. I think I met you through Tex and doing shows over there because he talked about Brown Springs. Now that place that sounded scary.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Graveyards, mob ties, pig farms, ghosts,
dead bodies, dog bodies, dead human bodies.
What was it? Dogman and Bigfoot, everything's out there.
Oh yeah. But they down there in Talladega in a year ago, October. Wendell's the one that actually thought of it. I got to give kudos to Wendell over that. He said that he wondered if they had zapped me to make me pass out to get me to the hospital.
Oh.
And they said, yes, they did. They zapped me to make me pass out so I would get to the hospital because they knew I wasn't going to make it.
Gary, did you know that I got zapped twice when I was out there at the same place?
Yep,
I got sick. I got so sick. I was vomiting, and I had to go lay down. I didn't know if I was going to make it through the night. It was bad. And so there's something going on at that location. Harley Owens also got zapped the same night that I got zapped, right before I did. I got zapped twice.
They zapped you all because they wanted you out of there.
Yeah, they did.
They did to save my life.
Yes. They do it for different reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that I forgot to say too, that I don't remember if it's Thursday night or Friday night down there at the Christmas dinner camp out. They zapped Robin. Not heavy, but a little bit. And she had to go over beside a tree and puke.
That's what I had to do. I had to go throw up. I had to throw up several times. I thought I had food poisoning.
Well, they zapped her hard enough to make her puke. And I felt it didn't hurt me. I just got a little nauseous over it, but I didn't have to puke or anything. But it was a fun camp out, man. I really enjoyed being there, and I mean, I always enjoy all of them, no matter where I go. When I go down to Alabama, I enjoy it a lot more. Everybody down there, family, you included.
Thank you. Well, we got Mark's in the chat. We got a lot of people in the chat that I've met that were out there at that event. So thank you for being here, Mark. Mark Plowboy Green. Mark and Rebecca were gracious hosts out there for that event, and everybody else was out there. I made some very good friends through all of y'all.
Yeah, and then you even seen something on your way home from out there.
I sure did. I had what I think was a Dogman encounter. Leaving out of there, yeah, it still haunts me to this day. If you want to call it haunting, it's actually not even haunting. It's actually really cool. But I had just as much concern for y'all back at base camp than I did for like the confusion of it all. I did see something that looked like an African dog that was the size of a bear, and it moved like a black panther. It was the color of a black panther with bright, shiny white teeth. And there were two of them. There was one on one side of the road and one on the other side of the road with his back turned to me. And it never turned around. And they were both crouched down in the tall grass. And it was just weird. Very weird. I made sure my doors were locked and I kept driving. I slowed down, but I did not stop. I didn't stop because I was by myself. That was kind of dumb, y'all. Don't do what I do. Okay. And it was late at night.
The reason I don't go on very many shows, which most people know that. Yeah, I moderate them, but I don't actually get on and talk to them. And the reason that I do when I do is to show the good side of it. Not just Bigfoot, but all cryptids. The majority of them are good people. They're people just like we are, just a different race. But the majority of them are good. There is rogues in all of it, just like in us. There's rogues in for us. But if they were all bad, like everybody claims, none of us would be alive. There's no house going to stop them. There's no car door going to stop them. Nothing would stop them. And every one of us that go to Dogman Ranch, we wouldn't come out of there. Because every time we go down there, we're surrounded by dogmen. The one time we was down there, we actually had a dogman come up within 10 yards of where we were sitting at the fire. I'm sitting there looking straight at him, leaning against the tree. I'm sitting on one side of the fire, everybody's all around me, and I'm watching the dogman leaning against the tree over there. I showed everybody the tracks the next morning.
Okay, Gary, where exactly is Dogman Ranch? And tell me about what in the world is Dogman Ranch? Where is it? And what is it?
It's in Texas. I can't give any more details than that because it's a private ranch.
Okay.
It's west of Fort Worth. That's all I can say.
West of Fort Worth. Okay. Lots of dogmen in Texas.
Yeah. Well, this one, there's a lot of them on it. And
private property kind of thing?
What?
Is it private property?
Yes, it's private. It's a private ranch, 2,000-acre ranch, and it's all private property. You have permission to go in there. And the last time we were there, we went out investigating at night. Usually I stay in camp because I have so much trouble walking. And I went with them that night. I was walking down through the woods. Tex went one way and I went this way. I got down in there a little ways and the alpha said, "That's close enough. Turn around. You're getting too close to my pups." So I turned around and there was a kid behind me. I didn't even know he was behind me, but he smelled him too. We both smelled him. And we turned around and walked back out of there. But he wasn't being mean or nothing. He just told me I was getting too close to his pups to turn around. So I did. But we had them all around us that whole night.
Do you think they get more territorial when they have their babies around?
Oh yeah, just like any mama bear, you can get around any mama that's got kids, and they're going to be mean. I don't care what kind of animal or person it is. So they're the same way. They're going to protect their youngins, and that's the same with the Bigfoot. And I do have some information for you.
Oh, you do? What kind of information you got?
But you probably heard it last night, but some of the people didn't. You know, I got a clan that stays around here.
At your house in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Well, they're
Yes.
here right now. They're down south. And I'll tell you what. Mama was pregnant. And she was due towards the end of January and early February. Well, they were traveling. And she had it Christmas Eve. So over a month early. So her and the baby boy, it's a boy. And her and the boy are real weak, but right now they're doing okay. She had a real rough delivery. Hopefully they'll be okay. They feel assured. They don't name their babies until they know they're going to be okay. Minimum of 3 days. They finally named him. I cannot say his name, so I just call him Matt.
Matt. Short, something you can't say short for Matt. I like that.
I've named them all nicknames because I can't say nothing.
You know, that's interesting because David Pardue, my friend up in North Carolina, he has a little, it's a big Bigfoot now, but he's known him since he was a baby, and he calls him Matthew.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
The name, it's Max or something. And I can't say it, so I just call him Matt, or like I said, baby boy. But Gene told them how to build a travel stretcher. So they carried mama and baby on down south farther to where they could get her in out of the cold. And she's slowly recovering, but I'm tickled pink because they got a new baby. He's still big man. Or one of the boys comes up to check on me. And I think I've told you, but I'm not sure. Big man is over 16 foot tall.
I was gonna ask you, can you tell the audience? I know it's kind of taking a little backtrack here. Who is big man and how? I was gonna ask you how big he is. 16 feet is huge.
Yeah.
How big are his footprints?
The last time I saw his footprints, they were 20 inches.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them in a while. But he's the big man is my alpha. I call him my alpha because he's all right. He has watched over my great grandma, my grandma, my mom, my aunt, and me all my life. We believe he's over 300 years old.
Wow.
Mama is over 100 years old. And but he has watched over my whole family all of our life. When I was 4, until I was 4, I lived right down the road a half a mile, and he watched over us down there. I've been right here on this place since 71. He's watched over me the whole time.
Wow.
Corey, he probably weighs about 1,300 pounds, judging by his cracks.
Oh yeah, Corey Cole's in here. Corey lives in Oklahoma too.
Yeah, he lives down the river.
Yeah, he lives by the Red River, he said. Thank you, Boondock Mojo, Corey Cole, for being here.
Coonbo, the 2 days Coonbo was here, he kept hearing something. He stepped outside, and he saw the eye shine of the big man. And he went down there the next day and seen how tall he was. And I thought it was funny. He was on a show, and he said, this is what he put it. He said, when Gary Spike says he's got a big man, he means a big man.
A big man. And that's what you call him. His name is the big man.
I call him the big man because I can't say his name.
And he's protected your family for generations, including your great grandmother. So that means that your great grandmother had stories about him.
Yeah, my great grandma did. My grandma did. My mom did. My mom used to plant a garden specifically for the plant. She had her garden over here, and she had their garden on the other side of the fence.
What you said she planted a whole garden for him
Yeah, well, for his
and his
family.
group? Abby. And did he come take from the garden? And did he ever give anything in return? Is my question.
Well, yes and no. I
Hmm.
don't think we give mom anything. They've given me some feathers.
Yeah.
And the reason I know it came from them was because it was stuck in the handrail standing up. It was not
Oh,
on the ground. It was standing up in the handrail.
like it was placed there for you to see it.
Right. And I've still got the feathers I found. And they've given me other stuff. And I've had a
That is
lot
so sweet.
of gifts. What do you call them? I got out of my truck one day and went in the house. And when I come back out an hour later, right there beside my truck was a pile of uh, nuts and a bunch of sticks placed just so that was not there when I got out of my truck the first day.
Oh my gosh. You got gifted some nuts and sticks, twigs. Twigs and berries. I'm just kidding. That's wild.
My 50 and baby girl, she's around two, a little over two now. She would come up and throw rocks, or not rocks, but acorns up on top of the trailer and let them roll back down just to get me to come outside.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I've been lobbed with acorns when I was out in the camping in the middle of the woods one night. Me and my whole team actually, we got pounded. Like just something was out there throwing acorns at us all night. And they were hitting our tents. You could hear them hit and then they'd fall and you could hear them go like past our tents and stuff. They weren't coming from up high going down. They were going sideways. You could hear it.
Uh, that's how you've heard that.
Hmm.
Well, that howl that we got, my son recorded it. He was on the back side camping down there, and they don't like him at all. But that's how we got the howl. They were throwing stuff at him, and the boys there's the big man, mama, two boys, baby girl, and now the baby boy. And they've got two girls that's already got mates and went off with their mates' family.
Oh man.
But
That's interesting. You've seen their whole families grow up and like branch out. The family tree has branched.
well,
I
that's
love
not
that.
that I've told you yet. And some people say I'm crazy about it, but I'll tell you in just a minute. But the boys was aggravating my son. I was down
Oh,
there. I
oh.
seen them. That's some of the nighttime sights that I had down. But the big man was up in the woods, and he howled, telling the boys to come on to get away from there. And you can hear one of them grunt. If you listen good with headphones, you can hear.
Uh-huh.
I call him John. He's the oldest boy, and you can hear him grunt because he didn't want to quit. But the
Oh
big
my
man
gosh.
wanted to get back. But since I did the last show with you, and I know you'll believe it because you remote view,
Hmm.
I've never got to see the big men, like out here in my yard. But I astro projected one night. I've always wanted to shake the big hand's hand. Well, I got to meet the whole family.
You did?
I did. I didn't. I guess you could call it shake his hand. All I could do is grab his thumb. His hand is so big that I could grab his thumb, and a regular shake. And I got to hug mama and hug baby girl. Shook both the boys' hands.
Oh my gosh.
That's how I found out mama was pregnant. She was pregnant at that time. And she, big man's hand is so big that it just covers my whole head.
Oh my God. I met Shaquille O'Neal one day. And I remember the one thing I remembered, I accidentally ran into him, literally. I plowed into his body by accident when I was walking. I wasn't paying attention. And when he said, "Excuse me, ma'am," or "I'm sorry, ma'am," or something, I forgot what he said, but he held his hands up, Gary, and I'll never forget. His hand was bigger than my head.
Yeah.
And he's the biggest man I've ever met. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. But I can imagine the big man is way bigger than Shaq.
Oh yeah. Like I
Yeah.
said, 16 foot tall. And that's the reason he will not, even though I know him and I love him like family, he will not show himself to me like out here in my yard because with my heart, he's afraid it will overwhelm me.
hmm And it might. It
It-
might. Can you imagine?
Even though I am, even though I know him, and I mean, I don't know any other way to say it. I know what to expect when I see him. It's still possible, you know, for it to overwhelm me. So he won't let me see it. And I don't blame him. He would feel bad if something happened to me because of him.
Oh yeah. Of course he would. He's been looking out for you your whole life, for generations.
But he
And man, that is fantastic. I want to take a moment just to do a little quick commercial break to thank the people who are the wonderful people who have been leaving super stickers and stuff. Thank y'all so much for this. Let me see here. We have Bigfoot Fan 33. Thank you so much for that super sticker. I so appreciate that. And also Sherry, thank you so much for your support with that super sticker too. Sherry Griffey, thank you so much. And also Gary Reed just gave 5 memberships to the Hunt Club, y'all. That's the membership here on the channel, and I put exclusive content over there for those members. Thank you, Gary. That's so sweet of you, and I appreciate it so much. Oh man, Gary. I mean Gary. Sorry to call you Gary. Well, you're Gary. You're Gary. I'm looking at other Gary. We have a couple of my teammates here right now, actually in the studio backstage, and I was thinking this would be a great time for us to take a quick break, and then we're going to get back to our conversation in just a second, Gary, if that's okay. And I have 2 of my teammates over here, okay, with Carolina Cryptid Field Research in Tatsa. Y'all don't know about that group yet, but we are here. I see them laughing. They're backstage, Gary. They are on site right now. David Pardue and Ed Peters have actually they just sent me some pictures talking about Bigfoot, sent me some pictures of some eye shine. Now they're currently at Uwharrie National Forest, Gary, and they have they're having a lot of activity, and so I sent them the link to hop on with us for a few minutes to talk about what they're seeing right now. Is that okay? I'm gonna bring them up, Gary. Is that cool with you? Let's do it. We're going to take about a 10-minute break, and we'll talk with these guys on site at Uwharrie National Forest. This is a new segment called Boots on the Ground. Okay, we're going to call it that. Welcome to the show, Mr. David Pardue.
Hey, Jessica.
Hey, David. Hey, Ed. This is Ed Peters, y'all. David Pardue.
It's
How y'all
cold.
doing? Are y'all cold? Are your eyelashes frozen?
No, eyelashes not froze.
No. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. Man, I love this. I said we're going to take a quick break for the Boots on the Ground segment out here with some of my favorite Carolina cryptid field researchers over here. What have y'all been having going on in Uwharrie National Forest tonight?
Well, we had you out here 2 weekends ago, and you got to see the eye shine firsthand. Some of the stuff I've been talking to you about for a while, and you got to see it firsthand. And we've been out both weekends since then. So this is 3rd weekend in a row for me and Ed. And similar stuff's happened. Saw some eye shine last night, very close to where you witnessed with yours. And we spent the day backtracking where we seen that eye shine last night, trying to rule out anything else that it could have been. And Ed found an impression close to where we seen the eye shine last night, and I'll let Ed tell you all about that.
Yeah,
Cool.
we
What's
saw
up, Ed?
what looked like a bedding. Walked up to the bed and we saw
walked up to bed and we saw what looked like a donkey footprint
next to the bed.
next to the bed.
It was actually
And it
brown.
was actually pressed into the ground,
You know, it had
had pulled some pine needles away,
and it was a real life, print.
Nice.
so
I saw that when you sent it. I saw that. I didn't pull it up to show the audience tonight, but I did get this other picture. Is it okay if I show this?
Sure.
Of the eye shine? Or the eye glow? We got a picture up on the screen right now of some eye glow. Is that from tonight, y'all?
Yeah, about an hour ago.
Yeah,
and it's hard to tell in the picture. It moves up and down, side to side,
and
sometimes it actually seems like it's floating.
Well, that is interesting. I want to bring you guys back on the show maybe next weekend or sometime. We can do a full show and talk about what this eye glow is.
Yeah, that'd be great.
What y'all think it is? Yeah, that's great. This is the first time we've ever reported live from the field on my show.
Boots on the ground. Well, we're by the campfire right now.
trying to stay a little bit warm.
Trying to stay a little bit warm.
Well,
we got 2 campfires.
Very nice, very nice. That's awesome, man. And you're at an undisclosed location, correct?
Correct.
That's correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're not
Okay,
where
well,
everybody thinks we are.
Well, it's just because the whole finding Bigfoot thing and stuff. I'm sure people are like automatically thinking you might be one place, but you guys know that place like the back of your hand. Let me tell y'all, audience, Uwharrie National Forest is a huge place, huge, and David and Ed know where the Bigfoots are. I'm just going to leave it at that.
It's
Groundwork. We hiked for several hours today.
Oh wow!
Yeah, we pulled down 6 cameras and put more cameras up. And
Okay.
saw turtle, whale. We caught
deer on the game trail cameras.
We caught
some
Bigfooters
on the trail cameras.
other than
Bigfooters.
ourselves.
Man, imagine that. Bigfooters at Uwharrie. Who'd have thunk it? I'm just kidding. There's probably a lot of Bigfooters that go out there, I bet.
oh yeah, we seen sign of it all day.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what was weird though. Ed found the box turtle. Here we are in the 1st of January, and this box turtle was upside down and still alive.
Oh wow.
And so Ed flipped him back upright.
Interesting. So that must mean that the turtle had not been upside down long. Maybe a gift. I think that's what Keith said. A Bigfoot gift.
I was like, I don't know. It was just, there's no reason. It was flat ground, pine needles. No way he could have flipped over from climbing something. He was just upside down on his back.
That's very cool. Gary, do you have any questions for these fellas tonight?
Nice to see you guys. Do you see how tall that is?
Did y'all see how tall? Could y'all tell how tall that creature was out there? The being.
It appears to be 6-8 foot off the ground. Is that rain?
It's rain.
Our rain just hit.
Wow, very cool. Okay, 6 to 8 feet, Gary. There's a little bit of echo, y'all. So we're kind of echoing all over the place. It's okay. Oh man, I'm just excited to have y'all live from URI. I can't believe that the you actually have cell service and internet to be able to do this. So very cool, y'all. What is your
Yeah, when
game
I
plan
first
for the
started
rest of the
coming down
night?
here, when it never happened.
No, they've got cell service out there now in certain places. If you get
Yeah,
up high
back in
enough on the mountain.
2005, it wasn't out here.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, that's cool, y'all. What's the game plan for the rest of the evening? Are y'all gonna be checking the cameras and staying up late? What's the plan?
Yeah, we've got some night vision running. The rain just started, so we'll probably hunker down and see.
It stops, we may head out again. I don't know.
Stop again. I don't know.
Okay. Well, heck yeah. Well, all right. Well, I want to get back out there with y'all sometime soon. Hopefully, I'll be able to come up there in the next couple months. Maybe come back, do some more super secret
Anytime.
expeditions.
Come on out.
Yeah, I will. Thank y'all. All right. Well, listen. The echoes. Laser said the echo's not bad. Okay. There's an echo, y'all. So I don't know. Do y'all got any words of wisdom to give the audience tonight before we go?
Put in the work.
Put in the
Time
work.
in.
Time in the wood.
Boots on the ground, y'all. Boots on the ground, right?
That's the only way you get
That's
it
the only
done.
way you get it done.
Exactly. Well, I appreciate y'all's dedication and for hopping on with us tonight. Thank y'all so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Of course.
Thanks.
Well, y'all be careful out there, okay? Tell Bigfoot I said hey.
We will.
We will. We'll be in the chat.
Okay. Y'all hop in the chat. All right, we'll see y'all there. Thank y'all so much for being here. Okay,
Thanks.
we'll do this
Bye.
again soon. Okay, I enjoyed this one. Boots on the ground, y'all. Okay. All right, y'all have a good night. We'll see it. We'll bring it back up next time. See you, David. Thank you. Bye. All right, Gary. Thank you for letting us do that. We took a little break there, y'all. And I apologize. There was a little bit of we didn't practice this beforehand. Okay. So we didn't have a dress rehearsal. But hey, that's pretty good, Gary, for boots on the ground in the middle of the forest. Bigfoot.
Yeah, no problem at all.
I thought that was fun. Oh yeah. Well, how about this, Gary? I want to talk some more about the big man. Okay. And we were actually before they hopped on, we were talking about the big man. We were talking about his family. And you said that he is 300 years old.
And
Like,
that's what we're figuring. They don't go by years like we do. They go by seasons. But he pretty much has to be up around that. The way he explained it to Gene, he's got to be right at 300. But to have took care of my great grandma, he's got to be that old too.
mm-hmm.
And like I said, Mama's over 100 because she was around and taking care of my grandma too. Both my grandmas.
Oh my gosh. That's the ongoing question, Gary, is how long do Bigfoots live?
Yeah.
How long do they live? I've always wondered that. And some people say they live the same amount of years as humans, but I would think they live longer than that.
And if you will do some investigating, you'll find that years and years ago, like back in the Old Testament, they lived 6, 7, 800, 100 years old, you know. What's hurt us more than anything is the way we eat, the lack of exercise, technology. We don't do nothing but sit around. I mean, you know, we don't work like they did. My grandma and grandpa used to take a crosscut saw and put 10 or not 10 cord of firewood a day with a crosscut saw, not a chainsaw. If we were that, we would live to be old. But it's not
tough as nails, man. People were like, I don't know. I'm not gonna say everybody was tougher. I think people were tougher back then.
Yeah.
I don't know. They weren't playing video games and stuff. You know what I mean? And seeking safe spaces and things like that. No offense to anybody. I'm just saying that's not how people used to live back in the day. It was all my dad, actually, as a matter of fact, Gary, my dad went to school in the snow uphill both ways.
Yep.
Okay. That's what he used to tell me.
I mean, I'm even old enough to claim that.
My dad always said, anytime I complain, he'd say, well, I went to school up hills both ways in the snow.
But
So yeah, they're tough. I come from tough people.
my mom was born a while across country right here in an old house that no insulation. They used a wagon to get out, and that's where to get around. That is where they the old saying, if the creeks don't rise, because if the creek got up, they couldn't get out of their place.
Oof.
There.
Wow. Oh
But
my
that,
gosh.
back in those days, they were born at home. They wasn't born in no fancy hospital. And they were a lot tougher than we are. I'm not saying we're not tough, but they were a lot tougher.
They were tough. They went through a lot. They did go through a lot.
My built, we called it Model A, but he actually took a Model T and 2 Model A's and built a car. And they drove that all the way to California during the Depression.
You said they built their own car?
Yeah.
I'll be dang.
Yeah, he took a Model A and a Model T and 2 Model A's and built a car out of it.
Oh my gosh. That's ingenuity right there.
Oh, yeah.
If I did that, my car would be held together with duct tape. Okay. I'm just saying.
You can hold it together with baby wire and duct tape.
Duct tape and zip ties.
Yeah.
Okay. And I used to have to build engines sometimes. My dad, I grew up driving race cars. And I always felt like it was punishment. But my dad would pretty much make us have to build our engines and stuff. Like he would sit down there we would go down the basement in the garage, and he would make. I mean, to me it was punishment, but looking back on it, I'm like, man, that was wonderful that I had to do that. That was the best punishment ever. Having to learn how to build engines and stuff. So listen, I got some skills. I just don't talk about them until the car breaks down.
I have to go north of here until I was 4, and I followed my grandpa everywhere he went, building engines, farming, whatever he was doing. I was right there with him, and that's how I got into Bigfoot watching over me. Was because of following him around.
Man,
But got a Dogman here watching over me too.
Tell me about the Dogman that watches over you, and do they get along okay with the big man and his crowd, his whole crew?
Well, I didn't know it. I didn't even know there was one here, and until this year, I always mowed all the way around my property, my fence rows. I was on the back side mowing my fence row when I looked up, and it was over there at the fence, about 200 yards away from me, watching me. When I got done mowing, I messaged Jean. I said, Jean, I think I just saw something. She said, you know what you saw. She said, yeah, he's watching over you. Just like the big man is. And I didn't, I wasn't sure if that's what I saw or not, but she backed me up on it. And there's something I didn't say a while ago when I was telling you about baby boy. Christmas Eve, I woke up at 3 a.m. with a picture in my mind. Big man was sitting there holding something in his hand, looked like a mouse in his hand. It was so tiny. Well, I said, all right, congratulations, because I knew what it was.
Was it a baby or something?
That was baby boy.
Oh my gosh.
Hi, Robin. And the next morning, I messaged Jean right off the bat. I said, Jean, did something happen last night? She said, yes, it did. And I said, did the baby come? And she said, yes, it did. She said, what do you think it was? And I said, to me, it looked like a boy. She said, you're right. So she verified the picture that I had in my head. Sometimes they talk to me through mind speak. Sometimes they just send pictures.
Mhm.
Sometimes they have yelled at me. I don't know how many times.
Yelled at you.
Yeah,
You got scolded by Bigfoot?
I'll quit breathing. Even with
Oh,
I quit breathing. And they'll yell to wake me up, or they'll one day there was a breath of air hit the back of my head hard enough to wake me up. That's in my house. I'm on the bed.
Mhm.
Air hit my head but hard enough to wake me up. Another day, my dresser has rings on it for door pulls.
Mhm.
Well, they slapped that ring so hard that it woke me up. I tried to imitate that. I could not hit it hard enough to make that ring that loud. So yes, they can come in your house, but they don't if they're not invited.
Well, there's actually a gentleman. I did a show with him a long time ago, Mike Patterson out of Ontario, I think. He's up in Canada, and he has forever talked about how he has uh, Bigfoots that come inside of his house.
Yeah.
And he's very much connected with mind speak as well, and the telepathic connection. And I have to say, just to back you up on this, okay, my audience knows this from the very first time I started talking about this, because it's one thing coming out as seeing a Bigfoot, and then coming out to the public as a Bigfoot field researcher, and then it's like, well, and my team is all taught in remote viewing. We've all learned remote viewing to have the telepathic connection to Bigfoot. And I know it's like it's more and more like a stigma to that. Okay. And I've seen that just from today. I've talked about it so much, and I think that my tribe has finally found me. I found my tribe over here. Okay. We have our own community over here of other people who have had these experiences. And so I don't care what people think about me anymore. Okay. I really don't. I kind of do, but I mostly don't. Like 99%, I don't care. But but there's a connection there. And I think that's important. The reason that the head of my team, taught us some remote viewing and how to really psychically tune in to Bigfoot and other cryptids, first of all, is to have a clear, calm mind when we're out in the field experiencing cryptids. That's important. But it's also to communicate, because they're not always going to come up and talk to you in English. Okay. The way we communicate is through telepathy.
Yeah.
And all humans are capable of that, y'all. We all are.
Yeah. You just gotta open your mind and listen.
That's right.
I didn't do it for years. I ignored it. And Jean is the one that helped me get to where I could actually listen to it. Jean has really helped me a lot. And now when I felt something, I just ignored it. I didn't care. I didn't want to know. Now I feel when they're around me, or they'll tell me they're around me. And it's usually get backed up by somebody else.
Mm-hmm. I love how you and Jean have a good work, almost like a working relationship here, because you're both very psychic, and you have that connection, that telepathic connection as well. And I think it's wonderful to have at least one person in your life that can understand what you're experiencing. That's why a lot of people stay silent about these things, because they don't feel like they have anyone they can share their experiences with. And so I'm very honored that you're on the show tonight, and you're sharing your encounters and your stories with us, because I too have experienced the mind speak and all that kind of stuff. If you want to call it mind speak, it's telepathy. Even somebody in the chat was just saying, yeah, like seeing pictures and telepathy through pictures and just thoughts, and Gina's right. I saw Gene too. Just make a comment. I want to pull that up. But first, I want to say thank you to Nathan Davis. Thank you, Nathan Davis, for that wonderful super sticker too. I sure do appreciate you. That is so sweet. Thank you for your support. And the chat is moving so fast tonight. Let's see if I can find this. Gene said, Gene's in the chat. Gene, you are so sweet. Thank you for being here tonight. They know your plans and why you're there before you know it.
I do.
Absolutely. I agree with that. They know your thoughts before you know your thoughts.
When I pull in somewhere, I don't care where it's at. But before I even get there, I pray, of course. But I also tell them why I'm there. To give you an example, when I pulled in, I was the first one down at the California, how you say it, where the grist mill's at. When I pulled in there, it was raining. I just sat in my truck and killed it. And I said out loud, we're here to get together, to enjoy each other's company. We're not here to bother you. We are not going to come out traipsing through the woods to bother you. We just want to enjoy each other's company for the next few days. So I hope you'll understand that and be nice, basically. I do that where I go. I don't care if it's Brown Spring, Dogman, Holiday Forest, up north here in Oklahoma. I've got a lot of experiences here in Oklahoma. Down at Old Nobby. I don't care where it's at. I do that and let them know I'm not there to bother them, that I respect them. And that is what makes it so good. When you respect them, they normally respect you.
You said normally.
Not
always, but normally.
Down at Honolulu, we had one walk through our camp this past October. And he didn't bother us. He just walked through camp. Now, 2 years ago, down at Honolulu, we were camped up on the ridge, and they picked my tent up and turned it with us in it.
God, that's terrible. That's got to be weird. What were you thinking when that happened? What was going through your mind?
Well, he just sat up and said, "We're sleeping. Leave us alone." We lay back to sleep. The next morning,
get on out of here.
My son, another guy, tracked it 150 yards down through the woods and had 15-inch tracks.
Oh my gosh!
Over in eastern Oklahoma, and I had one come up, and he was standing. I woke up in the middle of the night. He was standing right at the tent, rubbing his foot back and forth 2 inches from my head. And I just sat there and started making fake snoring sounds, and he turned and walked off. The next morning, we took a transfer, he walked off.
You pretended to snore?
Yeah.
I love that.
I wasn't bothered by him. Yeah. You don't want to act scared. If you see one, don't start screaming and hollering and pointing. Like down at Brown Springs, we were down there one time. We were all sitting around the campfire, and one walked up the trail from the river. And I sat there looking at him. I could see his body, in the dark, just a black shape there, about 8 foot tall. And I just quietly said, "Guys, we got company." And he turned around and walked off. But if I'd have started screaming and hollering and everything else, it would have run it for the rest of the night, because later on in the night, he come up beside camp, and we saw him, and then he just walked off, and then in the middle of the night, he run through the camp.
Oh my gosh.
Then you can't give in to your fear because they're not trying to. I don't know how to say this. The best thing you can do is not even let them know you know they're there.
Yeah, act normal, like you don't know they're there.
Act normal. Don't even let them
Act
know
normal.
you're there.
It's like when you pass a cop on the road. Act normal, kids. You know, just kidding.
Now there is
Yeah.
times that you got to be scared. I mean, I wasn't scared, but we were at the Brown Springs Cemetery.
Ooh, that place is scary. I hadn't been there, but I've heard about it.
In one place, and Tex and some other people were about 10 yards from us, and we couldn't even hear each other. But there was, they were having paranormal, and we were having paranormal. But what? It didn't scare me, it worried me. Because I was the only one that was armed. I had a 9mm automatic in my hand. But I was afraid that it wouldn't take care of business quick enough to keep somebody from getting hurt. We had a Black Panther stalking us. I saw him 3 times, and then my son saw him run across the road as we were leaving. We stopped and found the track, and his track was bigger than the palm of my.
Oh my gosh.
I was worried about not being able to stop him with that knife. I needed a bigger pistol. So there is time to be worried, whether you're scared or not. But if you are scared, don't show the fear.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with Dogman, they're not smiling at you; they're smiling at you 90% of the time.
They're showing their teeth. That's what that thing on the side of the road in Alabama did to me. I said he gnashed his teeth, but I don't know if it was gnashing. It was just showing his teeth. It was weird.
At you, because that's how they get their kicks, is scaring us.
Well, I ain't never scared. I'm just kidding. That's a lie. Listen, that would be a lie. I've gotten startled before, and I try to have no fear. I don't live in fear. It takes a lot to scare me. You know what I mean?
It's different from being scared.
Yeah, that's true. There's a difference between like being in danger, you know, like knowing there's something real dangerous, you could die or something. And I don't know. I don't let my imagination get the best of me. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, but they like to, even the juvenile Bigfoot, they like to tease us. We are their entertainment.
Yeah, they are.
And they're smiling at you most of the time because they know you're scared to death, or most people are. That's why they smile at you. And like Gene just said right there, showing their teeth is a sign of strength that they are willing to protect themselves. And that's
Yes. Like a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a little stray dog that showed up at the house this week. And you know, at first I didn't know whether to pet it or what. You know, I was giving it some time. I was like, okay, it's a little skittish, beautiful little hunting dog or something. And I was I knew it was hungry and stuff, but I was also very cautious as to like I just don't put my hand down to pet a dog that I don't know. Okay. I've learned through all my experience and all my dog bites that I've had. You know, it takes a few bites to learn not to pet every dog you encounter, y'all. Okay. But you know what I mean? But it's like, but the dog ended up being the biggest baby, the most beautiful, sweet little dog ever. And we've been helping take care of it until we can find its owner. Okay. And I love it to death. But you know, you got to be cautious. You just don't know. I mean, there's a Dogman still has animal instincts, whatever this creature is, it still has animal instincts too. So it could hurt you or it could be nice to you. I don't know. Could eat you.
They're just like anything else. They sense the fear in you. If you're scared of, just like a horse, if you're scared of a horse, you're not going to control it.
That's right. Just like a kid. Listen, if you show fear to my son, you're done for, man. Because he will walk all over people. I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean,
No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't let him do that. But I'm just saying, like, there are, you know, you got to assert your dominance a little bit, and
Yeah.
just with respect. With respect.
That is one thing the Army will teach you in the military. You may be scared, but you control the fear. You don't let the fear control you. And it's the same way with cryptids. You may be scared of them, but you don't let the fear control you. You control him. And that way you can show them respect. And the majority of the time, they're not going to bother you.
Yeah.
And that's what I told you earlier. That's the reason I do this, is to let people know that they are good ones out there. They're not all bad. If they were bad, we'd all be gone. Because there's nothing going to stop them. They can pull up a big tree and turn it upside down. How do you think a door in a house or a wall in a house is going to stop?
It's not. It's not. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same. Like sometimes I'll go out in the field and I don't feel like setting up my tent or something. I'll sleep in the back of my truck. Okay, and I'll lock the doors. I have an SUV, so I can lock the doors at night. I got tinted windows. I don't feel like anything can really see me in there. I can see out, but they can't see in so well. And I'm thinking like, well, maybe I'm a little safer in my truck, but really, I'm just as safe in a tent as I am in my truck, because if they wanted to, they could rip the doors off my truck and they could do anything they wanted to, and I'd be helpless. Well, kind of helpless.
I've kept cat for years, and I love it, but I'm getting so disabled. Let me put it that way. And it's hard for me to camp anymore. So that's the reason I bought this trailer and start using the trailer to camp in that. But they want me. That trailer's not going to stop them. They just rip the door right off of it.
Well, and that's okay. And Gary, that's the thing too, is we hear the most famous, I'm going to say the most well-known story of a Dogman attack is one that everybody's talked about from the LBLs from the 1980s. And it's alleged, I believe it happened, but I've done some remote viewing on it actually. But whatever attacked that family, there was they ripped the doors off the camper and all that stuff. There wasn't a whole lot anybody could do. But that's what we hear, and that's the story that's always been ingrained in people's minds. When they hear about Dogman, they think of the LBL and that attack on a family. So it has a stigma to it. The term Dogman has a stigma, and I think a lot of people kind of, like even I told you tonight. Okay, I'm gonna be very honest, y'all. Okay, I know that on my Saturday night shows, if we've got something that has to do with Dogman, it actually. I want people to hear the message, because Gary, you have some very important information. And I knew that if I made the title, and I'm guilty of it, y'all, everybody, but you guys see some of these other channels too. When you put like Dogman attack or something about a Dogman, it brings more people in to watch it, because what did Vic Cundiff used to tell me? Everybody loves to look at the train wreck or something. I forgot what he said. And I try not to do it too often. But, if we're going to talk about Dogmen, more people are going to pay attention to it if you're like, there's something, a Dogman ranch, like it's in the title tonight, right? That's intriguing, okay? Because people in their minds, they have this idea of like, I'm not saying Dogman ranch sounds like it's violent or anything, but more people are curious about that. Okay, not so much like the good Dogmen that we encounter that don't hurt a flea, so to speak, probably. But that's the stigma they have, Gary. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what we hear about more.
That's something I haven't told you.
Yeah.
There was this time I went to Dogman Ranch. I was first one there as usual. And I was talking to Jean on the phone. I said, Jean, they're all around me. She said, there's a cliff to your right, isn't there? I said, yep, across the creek, there's a cliff. In front of me and to the right of me. She said, there's one on top of that cliff. I said, yep, it's standing right up there in them trees. So there's one to the north of me on the cliff up there. I said, there's one behind me back here in the woods. She said, yeah, they're all around you. I said, I know they are. She said, well, they're going to try to help heal you tonight. The alpha's going to help.
Oh,
That night, well, the big man asked him to help me. That night, it felt like I was in my tent, and it felt like electricity going through my body all night long.
you got like a constant zap. That's what it sounds like.
Next morning, I got up feeling better than I felt, and I don't know how long. And I mean, it's just like I said, if they were bad, we'd all been because they were at us every time we did. And that one right up there in camp watched us while we were sitting out there.
Oh my gosh.
There's every time we go. But they were actually, like I said, he was trying to heal me, and it felt like electricity going through me. Yeah, like Gene just said right there. The forest people, you don't always know they're working on you. Sometimes you do. But the dogman, you feel it. I've had my chest. It's not hurting, but it's pressure. It's got pressure on it. And that's when the big man is working on me, trying to heal me. And I think I told you that story from Brown Springs the last time I was on this.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah, I feel like you're protected in so many ways by the big man. So many ways. It's not just it's like energetic protection. Like he is there to make sure you live a long and happy life over there. Okay, just protected. Just protected. And he's got a network of friends that he communicates with. I mean, I hate to ask you this question, but what do you think about like portals and stuff? Do you think that the big man and them, I mean, I know this is kind of out there, but we're not talking about mind speak, and I know that portals are real. I believe it. I've experienced them myself. My team has documented a portal. Okay. But I wonder if big man could like portal or something. I mean, what do you think?
I
To
don't
where
think
you are. Sorry.
I don't think he goes to the portal. When we go to Brown Springs, he walks down there.
Okay.
For Blue, he walks down there. He don't go like when I go to Alabama or LBL. He don't go with them. He asks the locals to watch over me. Now they have to have permission. Like the person in there, or like that at Brown Springs, there's already a clan there. So the big man asked for permission to come down there and watch over us. Because he has them help. Same way everywhere else that I go, that he's close enough for him to come. But if it's a long ways off, he just asks the locals to watch over.
Man.
At Dogman Ranch, there was a portal there, and it was pure evil. Something was trying to come through it that was pure evil. And I got a feeling I know what it was, but I'm not sure, so I'm not going to say. But I mean, it was pure evil.
Well, you know, in Oklahoma, where you live, I actually had covered a while back. It was a couple of years ago, I think. I had my friend John Ventaventure came on the show, and we talked about the Oklahoma Shaman's Portal.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that?
I am. You hear most of that stuff when you live here, especially if you're Native American.
Mm-hmm.
That may be one reason why they watched over me so much, because I am part Native American. My great grandfather was full blood Cherokee or Choctaw, and my great grandfather was full blood Cherokee. He was lead scout for Stonewall Jackson. Mm-hmm. So that may be why they watch over me, because we're Native American. Now, people like Robin down there at the grist mill, the reason she could see them was because she was struck by lightning.
Oh wait, did we talk about that before? I don't know if it was you on the show. Somebody has been on the show. I think it was you, Gary. And we talked about, I know Greg House was on the show. We talked about it with Greg. All the people who have been struck by lightning, who have had Bigfoot encounters. It is outrageous, the number of people. There's a lot of you.
Well, it's not just struck by lightning, near death. If you've had a near death experience, that opens your mind up to where you can accept what's going on too.
Hmm.
And I mean, I've come close to death so many times that is unreal.
I have too, Gary. Well, you know what? But I was just thinking about that when we were talking about the getting struck by lightning. When I was a kid, I got electrocuted really bad.
Yeah.
I never talked about this publicly before. But I don't know why my dad thought it was a good idea to put our electrical sockets on the floor in our house. I grew up in a log cabin, okay, out in the country, and my dad built it. Now I'm not accusing my dad of anything bad, okay? I'm just saying it was my fault. But I jumped out of the bathtub when I was a kid, and I was soaking wet. Put a towel on and ran to the living room, and I was literally soaking wet, and I stepped on that electrical outlet, and it literally shot me across the room. I got electrocuted so bad. I don't remember a whole lot of that, but I do remember that feeling because I felt like I was getting sucked into the floor, but I was really getting thrown across the room as a kid. Basically, it was horrible.
That's
And
log cabins. The reason he put them in the floor, you couldn't put them in the walls.
yeah,
Back in the old days, that's where they put them.
dang it.
That's why you are so open with because of that experience. And like I said, near death experiences that open you up. Lightning strikes that open you up. And some people have open minds without having to be near death being lightning struck. But the majority of people have to have something happen to them.
I've had many near-death experiences. I think I died a bunch of times.
I
I
did.
mean, I think I did. Like, for real, I really do. I think I've died a bunch of times this
My-
lifetime.
My grandma had to bring me back.
Oh, yeah.
And there's 7 more times. Well, when I had my heart attack
Oh, my gosh.
3 years ago,
Wow. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Indy, near-death experiences are something that a lot of experiencers have had. And Robin's in chat. Hey, Robin. She says NDEs and orbs or OBEs, out-of-body experience. I thought it said orbs. I can't see. In near-death experiences and out-of-body experiences. Yes. Actually, a good friend of mine, I hadn't talked to Katie in a while, but Katie Page, she's the head of Colorado MUFON. And she came out to the meadow when we were doing some research a while back. And she and I were talking. She said, we're kind of making the connection to like trauma and ET and cryptid experiences. And there's just something with people who've experienced a lot of trauma. We're talking about any kind of trauma, near-death experiences or trauma, period. And we've all been through trauma, some of us worse than others. But trauma is a common factor when people who have even ET experiences. Maybe it opens us up to something. We get on a different frequency when we've been through a bunch of trauma, maybe.
the eyes will open you up, especially.
Oh, yeah. Is that like a brain injuries?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what Barry Littleton talks about. He's had like 4 traumatic brain injuries, I believe, and he's had a very, very interesting connection to like the paranormal, the other side, cryptids and ETs and all that. And I think that he does make those connections too. So I don't know. There's something there. It opens you up.
But yeah, it all goes into fact. Some people like me, and they just ignore it, even though it's there. They just ignore it, and if something will happen later on in life, and they'll start opening up and accepting it for what it is. I don't look at it as bad. I look at it as a gift. I have a gift of knowing when they're around me and where they're at. I don't always see them, but I know they're there. And I actually had a medium tell me last year I didn't know it. And I was claircognizant. I didn't even know what that means. I had to go look it up.
Claircognizant.
Yeah.
That's like when you know something, but you don't know how you know it.
Yeah.
You just know it.
You just know it. You have no idea how you know it, but you know it. And it's true. I'll know something, not even know how. I don't know. But if you open up, then, like I said earlier, they might talk to you by mind speak. It might be pictures put in your head, and you might hear actual voices. Like I've had them, like I told you, I've had them holler at me and to wake me up when I quit breathing, and that's actual voices. That's not in my mind.
There's all sorts of ways that we can use our psychic abilities, and I've had to learn about all of them. And that's like, when I'm doing these remote viewing targets, we can't have any kind of sound. We're not supposed to have any sound in the rooms with us. It's got to be blank. Everything around, you got to blank out your mind, basically, like get out of your head. And there's some things we have to do to like just get out of your head. No smells. We're told not to wear perfume or cologne, no incense, no candles lit, no nothing. You got to be in a bland room with nothing that's going to be sensory, like to be like an extra sensory or something, like anything that would persuade you during these targets. Because once you start tuning in psychically to something, I can taste things sometimes when I'm remote viewing. It's weird. Okay, you can smell, taste. You can feel like you can touch things and stuff like psychically. It's just really odd. It's really weird, but it's also very interesting. So I know that if I have been trained to do that and I know how to do that, anybody could do it.
Yeah.
Anybody could do it. And it's natural. It's natural to humans. We've just been so disconnected from that, Gary.
That's just it. Everybody. I mean, they were working with telekinesis and telepathy and all that back in World War II and World War I. But technology has ruined us. We have used technology so much we do not use our brains. And Max had a good point right there. God does miracles every day. And he don't always do them himself. A lot of times he'll go through somebody else or through one of the cryptids to perform those miracles. If people will actually look around and believe it, you'll see that.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually found about a scripture in the Bible the other day. I said it last night. But talks about there's several that talks about the cryptids, even though people say there's nowhere they're not in the Bible, they are. But I'm not going to get into it. I was going to say earlier when that happened down at Brown Springs, I only told the 4 people there in my family. And they were my closest friends in my family. And every one of them said I was crazy. That is why, for so many years, I would not even tell my story. But then I got to talking to other people that believe they're spiritual and believe the same way. So that's when I started saying, okay, I'll go tell people this just so they know that they're not all bad. But my own family turned against me over that.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. It's well, here's the thing, Gary, is that a lot of people live inside, they know that they live in their own little reality. We all have our own reality that we live in. And sometimes it's more comfortable to sit in that reality than to think outside the box a little bit, and to because it kind of shakes up your whole reality. It's just like with my remote viewing and talking about being psychic, I got attacked more by people that I didn't know when I was talking about remote viewing than I ever did talking about Bigfoot. Okay, because it challenges people's perceptions of reality when you start to, and plus there's some religious connotations to that as well too, and so it challenges people. you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
and their beliefs to talk about being psychic and stuff like that.
Well, I didn't believe in remote viewing. I didn't believe in Dogman. I knew about Bigfoot.
Right.
I didn't believe in Dogman until somebody I really trusted told their experience with Dogman. I said, well, I don't think he'll lie, so it must be true. And then I started investigating and finding out more and more about them. And then I actually saw 'em myself. So now I believe, and I believe in remote viewing, as especially after that, the two times that I guess you call it out of body experiences, or what's that other word I said a while ago? I can't even think of it now. Uh, when I went and met the big man. Can't think of the word. I just call it out of body experience. But now,
Well,
uh,
go ahead.
it's hard to accept things that you don't know, especially when it's taught all your life that they don't exist.
Yeah.
People are taught that nothing like this exists. I was lucky because I grew up with them, because my whole family has dealt with them all. So I knew about it. My parents used to be in before dark. Now, once we moved down here, so be in before dark where the boogers would eat you. I thought they were just teasing, but if I they were for real. And there were a lot of other people that was the same way.
Hmm. Well, you have such a long history of the Bigfoot, of the big man taking care of your family. Uh, so not everybody in your family was on board with that, or they didn't believe in it, or did they not believe in the telepathic connection that you guys had with them?
They don't believe in none of it.
None
Well,
of it.
and that's what's weird. I've got one daughter. The spirits talk to her, and she knows big man's real, but she don't believe that they are spiritual and will pray, and she don't believe that they might speak. Even though spirits talk to her, and she's talked to spirits, but she can't accept that Bigfoot do.
Hmm.
They're critters, if you want to call them that. They don't think they're people like we are. And then I've got other family members that just don't believe in them at all.
Hmm. Well, everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
That's
You
right.
know, and so I don't force my beliefs or my opinions on anybody. I just tell my story, and if people want to hear it, I'm shocked that people are even entertained by a word that comes out of my mouth. Okay. But you know, you like you here, I have a lot of experiences and stuff, and a lot of it I can't even make sense of a lot of it. And I didn't speak publicly for 10 years about Bigfoot. I had been a hardcore boots on the ground field researcher for 10 years before I ever spoke publicly about it. Because, well, first of all, my team was private, so we didn't talk about it very much. But I was also it was a little weird. You know what I mean? Like, I knew that not everybody believed in Bigfoot and stuff. So I was gonna. I mean, people already thought I was a little weird, probably. And so you know,
But if it didn't scare you to death, then you're alive.
mhm,
And my experiences scare me because I've dealt with it all my life. It ain't like somebody that ain't never seen one or never dealt with one that goes out there. Yeah, it's going to scare them the first time. But I've dealt with them all my life, so it does not scare me like that. But he literally called me a liar because it doesn't scare me.
mhm.
I'm not going to say I don't get startled. Yeah, I'll step on a snake. I'm going to jump.
Who would it?
Scared,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just like that. All right. A good example is when that one ran across the road in broad daylight down there at the hunting camp.
Tell the audience about that, because we actually had something that ran across the road over by Stacy and Brian's camper that night that I was out there, and one of the nights I was out there, and it sounds kind of like what the same thing. It was around the same area actually from where you guys saw that other thing run across the road. Tell me about that, please. I'd love to hear about it.
Got a glimpse of it. Mark was standing there talking to us. He knew something was up, and I think he got a glimpse of it. But I was sitting there facing we had a porta potty set up right down there in the bottom. And all of a sudden, a black streak went across there so fast, that's all it was a streak. Mark said my eyes got as big as a silver dollar. It wasn't because I was scared. It startled me that it did it in broad daylight.
Yeah.
So we went down there and found the tracks on that side of the road where it pushed off. There was a 6-inch deep crack where it pushed off in that dirt so hard going across that road. And then I tracked it a little ways up into the woods. And another person was with up in front of me up there. And I got up in there so far and they said, that's close enough. Turn around and go back. So I said, okay, they just told us to get out of here, that we're close enough. So I turned around and went back. The other person didn't. They come back a few minutes later. But we found out later the reason they told me to turn around and get back was because a little one had got away from them and was hunting for it.
Oh man, it's always the kids.
Yeah,
It's always them children.
this was a little bitty one. But that track where it pushed off on that side of the road, I kid you not, was 6 inches deep. And
Dang.
probably about 12 inches long. Well, come to find out, we figure it was the same one that is messing with Stacy. And I
Yeah.
wanted to say her name to bring this up. We were sitting up there in camp. I had my back to the woods. And Stacy said, there's something over there waving at me. There was no wind. She said it was a big leaf, and there's no trees over there with a leaf that big. She said it would peek out and wave like this at it. It did that a couple times when she had her dog in her lap, was messing with her dog. I said, Stacy, it's waving at you again. She looked over my shoulder, and sure enough, it was. That happened 2 or 3 times. Well, it started hanging around up her camper. And her camper was up the road up there a little ways. And we named it Teddy and started talking to it all the time. And it was bringing her gifts, and she was leaving it gifts. And when we was down after the Christmas dinner, after I packed up and was leaving, I didn't make 2 miles down the road, and a picture come into my head. It showed a house with a creek behind it, and a certain spot in that creek with a bunch of brush trees. And I was going by Stacy's. I've never been there before. When I got to Stacy's, I stepped out of the truck, and they'd unhooked their trailer right there at the end of the carport, or beside the carport. And she walked out to where I was at. She said, look what I found. And she showed me a great big pecan, biggest one I've ever seen. She said there was no pecan trees anywhere on this street or anywhere in this whole neighborhood.
Oh, that's weird. No pecan trees
No
in the
pecan,
area?
none whatsoever in the area.
And it was a big pecan. I say pecan. A lot of people down here say pecans.
I've never seen one that big. And when she showed me that, I said, Stacy, I've never been there. I said, you got a creek behind the house? She said, yeah. I said, that's what I thought. I didn't tell her why. But we went on in the house, and we went into the kitchen and the dining room, and they got patio doors there. And I looked at the patio door and I said, Stacy, right there. And I pointed over there to where the trees was at, brush was at. I said, that's where Teddy was at. He was watching for you to come home.
Oh my gosh.
And I told her what happened. I said, I wasn't 2 miles from the campground when he put that picture in my mind.
Wow.
I described it to her before we even got to it and to see it. I knew she had a creek behind her house without ever being there.
Man.
Teddy looked on her. He lost his mama, and he looks on her as his mama, so he's watching over her every time she goes to home.
Oh my gosh. And Sunshine. Isn't her dog's name Sunshine? Shout out to Stacy and Brian. I think that's Sunshine. Yeah. It's like a little chihuahua, a little dog.
Actually,
Yeah.
yeah, he watches over them, and he makes
That's sweet.
exactly right there, around there, just from down from their trailer. But she told me I could tell that she had tracks there, the grist mill. Or not tracks. She heard something walking behind their trailer. There at the grist mill. It was a very active weekend, although it's my whole life's been active. Not as active as it usually is because they're down south with that new baby trying to heal that mama. Here, since I talked to you, I had a surgery in February and had it again in March. I had a friend come up to help take care of it. But I wasn't able to do nothing. I couldn't walk or nothing. Well, I was sitting here at the computer and I heard a noise. I said, what in the world? By this time I could walk with a walker. And I called her. She was staying in that extra bedroom in yonder. I called her in there and she heard it. So we went outside right here behind my house. Couldn't see nothing. But from right over there, about 8 foot right here, there's black marks where they was taking their hands and running down the wall like this. Over 8 foot tall, I couldn't even reach it. And while they were doing that, it was making squeaking noises.
Whoa.
And later that day, my grandson called and asked if he could go camping on the back side. And I said, yeah. So I went out there to unlock the gate for him. And I said, big man, my grandson and his family's going to go down there camping, so don't bother them or scare them, please. I no more got that, and she was with me. I no more got that out of my mouth. And 1,000-pound owl hooted 3 times in the woods. And you can tell it wasn't a real owl. So
I've heard that.
he heard me.
He's pretending to be an owl, giving you that confirmation. He's probably gonna scare your grandson out there. I don't know. Do you think they ever mess around a little bit and play around with people? Maybe try to. Yeah. No.
The big man don't. That's how we got he was helping with the boys to get out of here and leave my son alone.
Yeah. Big man don't play. He don't play around.
No, he don't.
I bet the kids do.
Yeah, the boys do. And baby girl does, even though she's a little bitty thing. Well, she ain't now.
Yeah.
When I seen her, astral projection, that's what it's called.
Oh yeah.
Later, she stood nearly 4 foot tall then. And she was a year and a half old.
Oh my gosh. That's pretty big. Man, that's big for a 4-year-old or man. But if they live to be like 300 or at least 100, they live to be a lot older than us.
Daddy's 16 foot, Mama's over 10 foot. Both the boys are 8 foot. So I'm sure it's going to be pretty tall.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I want to give a really quick shout out real quick to Michelle. Thank you so much for that super sticker, Michelle. I appreciate your support so much. And also I got to say thank you to Larry Sharp. What's up, Larry? Larry's out of Alabama. He has been a member of the Hunt Club for 21 months. Thank you so much, Larry. I appreciate that. And thank you for being here. I do appreciate it. Oh my gosh. So you got the grandkids out there camping out. Do you guys camp out on your property quite often? And does anybody have experience out there? Does your grandson have a Bigfoot experience out there?
He didn't. He ended up not camping. My son, several. He called me one night and said, "Man, I need you down here." I didn't even ask what it was for or what was going on or nothing. I walked
Okay.
out. That's back when I still smoked. I stopped at the gate and smoked a cigarette, and I saw one. I saw one run across the field down there. Oh wow!
Uh-oh, are your lights flashing?
Yeah,
Uh-oh. What does that mean?
maybe my ghosts are back.
You have ghosts in your house too?
Yeah.
Live on air. Live action.
No,
Uh-oh. Everything okay?
yeah, I'm just coughing. I'm gonna have to get another. I have to keep a cough drop in my mouth at all times to keep from coughing. But I seen that and ran across, so I finished my cigarette and walked on down there. And he said, "What's that?" He pointed to the south. I said, "It's a stump." And I looked again. I said, "No, wait a minute. That ain't a stump. The stump is about 18 inches across and 2 foot tall. And what we were looking at was pure black and a gray. And the stump, what we were looking at was pure black and about 4 foot tall and about 3 foot wide." I said, "No,
Whoa.
stump." And about that time, we heard a wood knock to the north. So we turned and looked that way. And when we looked back, it was back to the normal stump. So they'd been down there aggravating him. And that's when we got the cow telling them to come out of there. And then I call them Jarman and Junior. The oldest one's Jarman and the youngest one's Junior. Well, that was Jarman over by the stump, and you could hear him grunt. In that recording, you can hear him grunt. I don't want to, but he did anyway because his daddy said. We've had a lot of activity, and like you said earlier, twice I've seen them watching my grandsons. And all over the state, I've had nighttime sightings. And then I've seen the Dogman and Bigfoot, Dogman Ranch. I've seen them at midnight. It's just everywhere I go, I don't go out in the woods hunting them. I just go camping and they come around. You don't got to out in the woods looking.
That's the best way to have a Bigfoot experience is just to go out there and go camping and sit around the campfire.
That's
And they'll
it.
come to you. It's kind of like what David and Ed were doing that stopped by earlier tonight on the show. They're just kind of chilling in the base camp tonight, from what I
Right.
understand. They weren't out there hiking around. I mean, when I was out there with them, we were hiking and we set up a satellite camp way up, went, started a campfire and stuff way away from base camp. And that's when the Bigfoots followed us up there and were checking us out. But we didn't, the minute that my friend Keith started walking towards where the eye glow was, they disappeared. So they don't want you to notice them at
Yeah.
all.
The Sisters of the Moon, they just go camping and they put up lights. They sit there and sing and laugh and everything else. And they always get activity. Always. But they just do it in camp and they get the activity there in camp. And that's what we do. Like, I mean, like I said, I went that one night, but usually I just stay in camp. And they come around. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jean wants me to ask you about something. She says, ask Gary about the time they grabbed him by the foot in his tent and drug him down the trail. What?
That was down in Honobby when they turned that tent and drug it.
Oh, when they picked up your tent and turned it around?
Yeah. They didn't get my foot. They just picked up the whole tent and drug the tent.
Did you stay there all night after that? You didn't get up and leave. You just stayed there?
Yeah.
That's tough right there.
The the first date, I was dating a girl at that time, and it was the first time we'd gone out camping or anything. And we were
Oh
both
God, that's a terrible first date or first way to go camping. A first camping trip. You get drugged down the trail by a Bigfoot the first time you go camping. I bet she never went camping again after that.
no, it didn't bother. We stayed there 3 more days.
No.
Yeah,
Well, she's tough too. Then she must have been tough. Tough
but
as
I
nails.
leave me alone. And we just laid back down and went back to sleep. It didn't scare either one of us. It just the next day was laughing our heads off about it. And then when they looked, there was 15-inch tracks right there by the tent. And they followed it 150 yards down into the woods to the creek.
Wow.
What happened? The guy that he set the tent up before we got there, and we got there way after dark. And he didn't know it. He put that tent right on the trail. So when it was coming down that trail, the tent was in his way. And so instead of going around it, he just moved it.
Well, you were on his trail. You were
Yeah.
right on his path. He was like, "I'll show these people." Urgh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, though, just like I said, that time over there at in eastern Oklahoma, he was rubbing that tent right there 2 inches from my foot. I just started fake snoring to let him know that I was asleep so he wouldn't bother me. They're not going to bother you. If you ignore them, they're going to ignore you. Actually, if you ignore them, they're going to work their way in closer.
Yeah. Sovereign Cosmic Wildman said that you were almost a Bigfoot burrito. Almost.
And,
You're
know.
close.
and Panic calling them Bigfoot burritos. In fact, that's how I got my hammock. There was a guy in it that scared him so bad that he turned over and ripped the mosquito netting off of it. So the person that owned it was just going to leave it there. And I said, I ain't leaving it here. I went and got it and kept it. I'm still got it.
You know what? There's nothing worse than being trapped inside a mosquito net in a hammock when all hell breaks loose in the woods. It's hard to get out of a hammock in emergency. I'm sorry, it is. With a mosquito net on it, you're screwed. That would be like Scooby-Doo scrambling and going all over the place. I can just imagine. That's what I'm thinking in my mind. Is like just that's just, man, just hope nothing bad happens if you're in a hammock with a mosquito net on it, because you basically are a burrito.
Yeah.
And it's good luck getting out of that thing in the middle of the night in a hurry.
Sleeping bag on it.
Yeah, or even a sleeping bag too.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, Wendell just said that, well, it was, I don't know if it was in June or a year ago, October, down there at the hunting camp. Patrick had the tent unzipped, and the next night he set his fuel on fire because he fell asleep at his fire.
Oh, Patrick, I tell you what. Patrick had his tent unzipped, and the next night he set his shoe on fire. That is wild. Was was it at Talladega?
Yeah.
In the hunt camp?
Yeah.
There's some weird stuff going on out there. I mean, that's an area of very high strangeness out there.
It is.
And, I don't think it's just Bigfoot and Dogman. I think there's some kind of, you said potentially there's some kind of entity out there.
Yeah, that evil entity.
The evil entity. That's not a good feeling. I mean, I got a horrible feeling when I was leaving there. I think it's a beautiful place, and I love camping out there. But leaving there that night, it was really scary driving out of there by myself. There's something to it. I don't get scared easily. Okay. It's almost like maybe I just psychically knew that I was about to see something weird. Like when I saw those Dogman things out there.
He runs back and forth between the grist mill and the hunt camp.
Do you think it's like an old entity of some sort of like just an ancient entity maybe? Or what is your thought? What is your thought on that? You said it's a creature. You can't say, oh, you told me, you said it was a W, right?
Right. And here's the thing.
The W.
The person that the seer was talking to through me, when I described it, he said, I know exactly who that is.
Really?
Yeah. So that's what those things are. They are somebody that is turned into that. Some
Oh.
shaman can take care of them. Sometimes it takes 2 to 3 very strong shaman to take care of it. But when I described it, that person said, I know exactly who it was. And that told that person why it was after that.
Oh.
Because I'm thinking, it's just my thoughts. I don't know. But I'm thinking because I interfered and let the seer speak through me, now it's after me when I go down.
Mm-hmm.
Because that explained to me how, all right, here, my CPAP is on my headboard, a foot above my head. My hose goes up 6 inches and then comes back down to me. In that tent, it's sitting on the floor 2 foot below me, and yet enough water come out of that CPAP to nearly drown me. Explain that to me.
Oh yeah, I can't. Man. I just know you have a lot of protection around you, and I am so thankful for that. It's a blessing to have such heavy protection around you, and to feel like you've got, you've got a network of Bigfoot basically watching over you. Because I mean that is really scary. I mean, that's one thing that we do. I mean, there's a lot of this is not just all flesh and bone. It's not just all this X factor. There's a big time spiritual factor to all this. And
Very spiritual. The Dogman and the Bigfoot are very spiritual people. They pray just like we do. I mean, even non-believers on the spiritual part of it will tell you that they have rebuked them in the name of Jesus when they left them alone. And that's not, people do not believe in the spiritual part of it.
yeah.
My thought, I have never done it on purpose. The 2 times I've done it, I've astral projected. It just happened. I wasn't trying to. But they are very spiritual people. They pray, they believe in God, just like now. I'm praying all the time for the big man and his clan family, especially mama and baby boy, and they feel the prayers.
Yeah.
Gina said that they feel the prayers and they appreciate them. Even before she had the baby, I was praying for them all the time.
Hmm. It's a very spiritual experience, even just being out there around them. And I've often wondered, like, I mean, because I know that you had an experience where they were praying with you at some point.
That was at Brown Springs, yeah. That's where they saved my life at Brown Springs. Over that again.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna bring this comment up because it's from Colleen. Hey, Colleen. She says, Jessica, about a year into watching your show, I started to include Sasquatch into my daily prayers as a child of Mother Earth and Father Sky. And I that's wonderful, Colleen. And I've often thought about that when it comes to Bigfoot. I've had an instance where we were up in Tennessee at I was at a little expedition. We did an investigation into a couple's property where they were having cryptid encounters and their chickens were going missing and all that kind of stuff. We did several shows on that. Okay. But we had something that showed up while we were investigating were some kind of almost like ghost beings. Like we couldn't see them, but Farah, who was with us, it was her property. She had one of those little ghost hunting devices it was like kinetic ghost hunting something or other. And you could see they're like stick figures. When a ghost would show up, it would be a stick figure. And And we
Right.
had these, yeah, we had these 3 that showed up. One was giant, and then there were 2 little ones. It was like a mama and 2 babies. And I was thinking, we were thinking, well, either and it was kind of interacting with us. This thing crawled out of the cave, and it was right there in front of us. And it started making me question, Gary, are those ghosts? Are they ghosts? Are they just something in another dimension? And could it be Bigfoot? Could Bigfoot be a ghost? And the whole paradigm just kind of shifted for me that day, because I was like, man, I never thought of that. What happens with Bigfoot? What happens to them when they die? Like, where do they go? And what's the spirituality behind that? And I don't know. It's just something I've pondered quite a bit.
They're just like us. They bury their own.
Mhm.
That's bodies because they bury their own. But they're just like us. They're going to go to heaven with us. And that scripture I was telling you about the other day, that's what it's talking about.
Yeah. Well, they are painted on like was it the Sistine Chapel or something? I think it's a Sistine Chapel. There's a couple of, looks like Bigfoots painted on the Sistine Chapel in the ceiling.
And if you'll go back to the cave paintings back thousands of years ago, you'll see Dogman, Bigfoot, and them too. They're,
Yeah.
like I said, they're a people just like we are, just a different race.
I can't disagree with you on that one.
They're,
Yeah.
I've been trying to tell this story. Down at Brown Springs, Gene is involved in this one. Everybody had gone up to the cemetery, and I was staying in camp. I didn't go to the camp because the reason is, especially down there, I went up the cemetery and I got sicker than that, so I didn't go back. But I'm sitting in camp. I got out into the fire, and I was on the phone with Gene. He said, "Get back in the truck now. Lock them doors." So I got back in the truck. He said, "There's a bunch of brush to your right." I said, "Yeah." He said, "There's woods to your behind you and to your left." I said, "Yeah." He said, "There's one in every one of them." I said, "Yeah, I know. Big man and the boys are here." And all of a sudden, my chest went to hurting. I mean, it was hurting like it never hurt before.
Oh no.
And my heart was fixing to explode. Gene said, "Start praying and pray hard." So we're both praying hard. I don't know how long went on. I lost track of time. I
Oh,
felt so bad I was fixing to do I was dying. And I kept saying, "In the name of Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, leave me alone." And it wasn't doing any good. Finally, I got mad and I screamed, "Satan, in the name of Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, get out of this camp and don't come back." Instantly, instantly, my chest was stopped hurting. And then I was talking, like I said, I was talking to Jean. She said there was my 3 from my clan. There was 4 local Bigfoot and 4 local Dogmen all praying with us. I could feel it too. I knew there's something out there praying. But it didn't do any good until I said his name. When I said his name, it went away. But it wasn't a couple months later I did another one that.
oh gosh.
It did affect me.
Hmm.
He died right then and there. If it hadn't been for Gene and everybody, all those others praying with,
Wow.
literally, I felt like my chest was going to explode.
Oh my goodness, scary.
Well, that's the brown spring story. And then, like I said, a couple months later, well, it was in May, the next May, when I had my. So it did affect, but it didn't kill me that night.
Man. Good grief, Gary. It feels like every time you've had these incidences, you've been to, not every time, but like at Brown Springs and then at Talladega, is when you had some pretty big health like occurrences out there. And it's almost like you were with friends though, right? Were you with friends at the time when you were at Brown Springs? You have people around you to help you, and
Oh, not at Brown Springs. I was by myself. Everybody was
you're
upset.
by yourself?
All it was to get on the phone and cryptids out in the woods.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, Talladega had friends around me.
Yeah.
And this is what I always say about it. I got some severe health problems. I know that. So I know how I told you about.
Mm-hmm.
The reason my potassium level got so low is because I'm stage 4 severe kidney failure. And I've got stage 2 horribly severe emphysema. God has done this, allowed this. He don't do it. He allows it for a reason. I don't know what that reason is. I never thought I'd reach stage of 30. And here I am. I ain't gonna tell you how old I am. I'm old.
You're not that old.
I am. I got a 28-year-old grandson with 3 great grandkids. I got 12 grandkids and 3 great grandkids.
Oh my goodness, you got great grandbabies.
Yeah. But he's got a reason for it. I don't know if it's for them doing these shows and giving a testimony, because God is the one that's saving me, but he's saving me through the cryptids.
Mm-hmm.
And I firmly believe that nobody will ever tell me that, make me believe that the cryptids were not praying with me that night.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I pray for them every day. And I don't know why he's doing it, but for some reason he's keeping me around.
Because you are the human liaison between them and the humans. That's what it is.
I don't know. All I know is that I won't argue with people in chat when they say they're demons and all that. It's not worth the argument.
It is not worth the argument. Exactly. Amen. I agree to that.
If I go on a show, I will tell the good side of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't go on very many shows, and a lot of people don't even want me on the show because I do tell the truth. I do tell the good side instead of what they want to hear.
Yeah. They let that train wreck. Remember what I say? The train wreck. Yeah. A lot of people do like to hear that. Listen, I like to hear what you have to say, because I think it's wonderful hearing testimony from someone as credible as yourself. And in a I'm not going to say the communities are not so open. I think our communities are very open-minded. Okay. Well, I do. I think that they're becoming way more open-minded because of yourself, because of you and people like yourself and Gene. You know what I mean? And myself coming out and talking about this, because we are having these real experiences and we have the guts to talk about it and to take those arrows that people shoot at us and stuff. I mean, we take it and just kind of bounce off of us at this point, right? Because this is our experience. And I think there's more people that have these experiences where there is some sort of X factor, telepathic nature, something where we have a different connection than, a lot of people want to recognize. And I don't know. I think it's important that you speak about it like this, and I appreciate it.
I've been talking about it for a long time just because of the ridicule I received from my family and my.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it and listening to other people putting them down and saying how bad they were. And I know they're not bad. Don't get me wrong, there are bad ones out there.
Yeah.
But the majority of them want to be left alone. They just want to live their lives, and they don't want what we have. I hear people say, well, they need to grow, what do you call it? They need to come into our world and expand. No, they don't want to expand. They want to live in the woods. If I could, I'd live in the woods myself. I would love to just stay in the woods and not have to get back around people.
I know. Sometimes people can suck, Gary.
Yeah, a
That's
lot
true.
of you know what I'm saying?
I know. I'm lucky to have some good people that I'm friends with and I'm around. You know what I mean? There's a lot of good people out there, but there's some, you know,
You
it
got
is
that?
what it is. It's part of being human. Got to be around. You got to have you got the good and the bad.
That's why every year by myself, I mean, people that I meet there. If
Yeah.
I could, I'd go to Alabama once a month, but I just can't do that. But I try
Wow.
as much as I can. But the main point that I want to make anytime I go on a show is they are not bad. They are good. They will help you if you will respect them, and they will respect you. But when you go out there acting like you're the cock of the walk and you're the top of the food chain, I got news for you. You are not the top of the food chain. They are.
Yeah.
Remember about a tree down there in Alabama. That tree was at least 18 inches in diameter. And they had pulled it up by the roots and stuck it back in the ground upside down. No machine did it. I got up there and walked up there in the middle of summer, snakes and all, and looked at it. No machine did that.
No.
Wendell, how tall was that? I can't remember, like 15 foot. But he's the one that found it. I don't know what it means. But if they can do that, we are not the top of the food.
No, I've seen some things that Bigfoot has done that proves to me we are definitely not the top of the food chain. One of them in particular is my favorite tree twist that I've ever seen, and it came right out of Uwari. And I stood right around the area where that tree twist was made. It was cut down and taken out of there, but this thing was twisted at least. David Pardue took me out there, by the way, who was on our show a while ago. Him and Ed, Don Tart, and Keith. And that thing was twisted around. Gary, it was twisted like 13 times or something. It was just over and over and over again. And I've never seen anything like it in my life. And I didn't see it live. I saw it in a picture because, like I said, somebody had gone in there and cut the tree down and took it as like a souvenir, which is a bad idea. I would never do that. I think that's marking territory.
Yeah, it is. We
Yeah.
camped Brown Springs that weekend that I told you about a while ago when it run through camp and come up to the camp.
Mm-hmm.
Back down there 3 weeks later. And right there at the edge of the camp, there's no other trees around it. There's a sapling. And higher than I could reach, so it's about 8 foot. That thing was broke over and twisted. And no other trees, like I said, there's not one right next to it, but they're all around down there. And nothing else was damaged, so it was not wind that did it. Something literally broke that over. And then on the trail down to the river, it's 300 yards to the river. We found a tree that was, I want to say 18 to 20 inches in diameter, literally pushed over against the current of the water. This has been the overflow from the river, and the water hadn't been that high anyway. But it was pushed against what the water would push it. And there was 18-inch crack right there at that tree. And up on the tree, you could see where the handprints were to push it over.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
We've been down there camping.
I'll tell you what. I mean, if they can do that, I mean, wood is heavy. Wood is so heavy. I mean, just carrying wood in to build a campfire or something. I mean, wood is heavy, and trees are heavy. Okay, and taking a tree, a normal human is not going to be able to pick up a tree, flip it around. I mean, I don't know. It's beyond when you see it in person. Okay, I know the average person, if they're looking at like tree stuff that Bigfoot's made, like
Extras.
it's different when you see it in person. It is a lot of these things are massive, y'all, and it changes your whole entire way of thinking when you see that. You're like, oh my god, it'll change your life.
My
Okay,
son had a bad habit of coming down here and traipsing through the woods. And like I said, they don't respect him at all. So he went down there one day and they had made 3 X's all over the edge of the woods in different places. And I know exactly what they were doing. They were telling him to stay out. That was their territory, not his.
oh,
But he didn't, of course. He went back down there and traipsing through the woods again.
oh my gosh.
Crap. I had a road going alongside the timber. And they'd gone in there and piled a bunch of brush. There was a deer trail there. They piled a bunch of brush and laid a log across it. You could see where they would lay behind that log. And when a deer turned to go up that around that brush pile, they would reach over that log and grab them.
Oh man, hey, that's pretty. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. It sounds pretty smart.
They love deer. They love. Now they've never taken one of our live cats, but if we take a cat that's born dead and take it down there, they'll get it. I took one that had been born dead and put it down there. The next day, it was gone, and there was no track anywhere, no drag marks from a big cat dragging it off, no nothing. Well, I know what got it.
They're big enough to just snatch it up and throw it over their shoulder.
Oh, and they can just step over the fence. They don't have to push for nothing.
Oh yeah.
And they can walk without leaving tracks. They can run through the woods without making a sound. And I know that. People don't believe that. But we had a guy that said there ain't no way they could sneak up behind me.
Oh yeah, they can. Yes, they can.
And my son walked right up behind him and touched him on the shoulder. He never heard it. He like jumped out of his skin.
Gary, I had the first time I ever went Bigfooting, my first weekend ever. I had something that ran up behind me and it was invisible. There was nothing there, but I could hear it. I felt it, and as it ran past me, it swept my legs out from underneath me, and I could even my hair, everything moved. There was wind.
Yeah,
There was wind that went past me, and it went running right past me. It ran up behind me, and then it did like a 90-degree turn as it knocked my legs out from underneath me. And I looked, and there was nothing there. The guys were watching me from the bottom of the hill because I was being bait. Okay, and it worked. I was bait. The bait worked. Okay, but it was just weird. And later, within 30 minutes or so, a Bigfoot peeked its head out from behind a tree right in front of me.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see it because it was dark, so I didn't see it. But the guy saw it down at the bottom of the hill. But I think that was I'm gonna say that was a Bigfoot. Okay, it was something, but you just couldn't see it.
I remember you telling that. And I didn't believe in cloaking either until I saw it with my own eyes.
Mm-hmm.
My sister and I, after my heart attack, she come to help take care of me. And we were outside and we heard just, what in the world? So we walked over to the side of the barn and I looked to the backyard. And in the backyard back there, there's a tree, 30 foot up in the tree. A big old limb was just sinking down real slow like this. And when it hit, the end of it hit the limb below it, it just started shaking real hard. But there's no wind. Well, I walked back there and I could not see nothing in that tree. The next day, that limb that had been pulled down had been thrown. It couldn't fall out of that tree. There's too many other limbs there. It had been thrown off to the side. And as we came back around, we found tracks in the yard where it had stepped in a gopher hole and left a track. It was 6 inches wide and about 13 inches long. And Big Man wasn't here at the time. They were down south because we was in the middle of a drought. I said out loud, I said, Big Man, there's a stranger here. It's up to you whether they stay or not. And I turned around and told that stranger, I said, I don't know who you are, but it's up to the big man if you stay. But if you stay, do not try to scare anybody or hurt anybody. Well, evidently the big man sent one of his boys up here that run it off because I never saw it again or heard it again. But it
Oh
was,
my God. You were giving him orders. You're like, that's an order, son. Don't you dare scare any of us.
It wasn't an order. It's laying down the rules.
That's right.
And 90% of the time, they're going to follow those rules.
It's like having kids.
I
tell you what.
Especially with the juveniles. The juveniles love to tease. They used to tease me all the time. And they were just teasing. They wouldn't hurt nothing. They could not go out the house just to let me know they're there.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get over this cough.
Oh, sorry, Gary. I think, a lot of us too have been having coughs and stuff. Everybody I know has been sick lately. Just everybody.
Can't get rid of it.
Man. Well, I'm going to try not to go 3 hours tonight. I know we've already been doing a 2.5 hour show. I don't want to keep you up all night because I know you know. I'm definitely going to bring you back on though, for sure. Okay. I want you to come back and come hang out with me some more. But I wanted to read this comment real quick, Gary. This is from Max Love Life and Learning. Thank you so much for all these comments tonight, y'all. And poltergeists aren't just in haunted houses. They are outside day and night too. Appalachian Mountains are hot spots, I hear. Civil War and Native American unaliving sites are too, and that's facts. And I agree with that. Yeah. What do you think about that, Gary?
I agree with it 100%. There's a ghost. This whole area, they're not poltergeists, they're just ghosts. Across the road from me is a ghost. And a half mile north of me, actually, a quarter of a mile north of me is a ghost. My cousin built a new house and he's seen her several times. I've got ghosts here.
I saw your lights flickering twice tonight.
Yeah, every once in a while they'll do something just to let me know they're here. Or I'll see a flash of them as they go down beside me here. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say poltergeist because poltergeists are bad as far as I know. All aren't bad.
Yeah, it just depends. Well, when people hear poltergeist, they think of that movie Poltergeist, or the developer built all those houses on top of an Indian burial mound, and it's like all hell breaks loose.
If you stop and look anywhere in southern United States and probably northern United States too, just about anywhere you go is going to be Indian burial grounds. Ain't no telling how many was buried here on my property. This was all Indian property at one time. So you can't get anywhere without that. And that, like down at Brown Springs, that cemetery there, that's what it is. There's a lot of them buried there. Yeah, you go to Brown Springs. Anytime you're ready, just holler and I'll take you down there.
Oh yeah, I thought they closed Brown Springs down or something. That was the last I heard. It sounded like they had closed part of it down.
And the road's flooded, so they shut it down. But they opened it right back up as soon as the road's clear.
Oh,
We think there was going on.
Well, in that case, I'm gonna have to go up there then because I got to visit my friend John Vendeventure over in Honobi sometime too, and I want to go up to that Oklahoma Bigfoot Center. I want to go meet Tanya up there, and Miss Cindy Goodbreak's been up there lately too. So I got to go up there. I got to go see my people at some
Well,
point.
my partners and I put up vendor stalls at the Hobby Bigfoot Festival. It's 3 days now instead of one.
Man, I would love to go. I would love to go to that. That would be fun.
You know,
Maybe I'll come up there.
this past October, we had one to go right through it. We were in my tent. I didn't have president. I had one to go right by the end of the tent. I've got a divider curtain in my tent, and the girls were on the end, and I was on this end, and it went between. I heard the steps. She saw it black out the light on that end of the tent, and went right there. I can't. I know there's probably 75 vendors lined up down through there.
Oh my God, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, they have a lot of good stuff. I mean, I don't go because I'm running a table, but they have a lot of good speakers up there. I know a lot of the speakers personally.
Well, you could run a table with all the things that you're making today. I love my walking stick, by the way. Thank you so much for my walking stick, Gary.
Well, I'm doing now. I'm selling ceramic ornaments now too.
You need to get a table and go sell some of those suckers.
I am.
Some of these Bigfoot events. Yeah, you should.
I got 2 in March and 1 in April.
Wonderful. Where are you going to be at? You want to tell the audience?
In March is it's a private camp out actually at Levon, Texas. But it's all new people, so none of them's got any of my walking sticks or anything else. And that's the first one in March. The second one in March is at South Arkansas at the Bigfoot Festival. And then in April is at LBL.
I would love to, I might try to come up there to that LBL event. We'll see. I don't know.
Now, if you're going, you have to go on Woodwalker's page and sign up now.
Yes. Woodwalkers is putting together a meet and greet. Is it another meet and greet, Gary?
And hopefully it won't be a meet and freeze like the 22.
A meet and freeze.
It got up to 17 degrees and we had 2 inches of ice and snow.
I'm used to it. Listen, my eyelashes will freeze together and it'll be fine. I'm used to it. Like I said.
Nobody was prepared for it was the problem.
Oh no. Hey, I'm prepared for anything. I literally carry heaters and whatever I need. I'm well prepared. I'm pretty prepared.
Yeah,
I'm a tough cookie.
and then of course in October got Honabi again. And 3-day festival. And I don't know where else they've got us scheduled for it. But yeah, I go into a lot of conferences and stuff. I went to that conference last September in Missouri. I booked I think 24 walking sticks, and I didn't bring any back.
Oh, you didn't? That's wonderful. Oh my gosh. If you guys get a chance, y'all go out and see Gary and purchase a walking stick from him. It is the most beautiful walking stick I have ever seen. And I've seen a lot of walking sticks. And I just love it. And you put some turquoise on it for me, some turquoise rope. It's beautiful. It matches my background, y'all, on my show right here. Okay. You can, if you're watching, you can see. What does Wendell say? Last year was cold at night and warmed up in the daytime. That's good because if it was too cold, you would have left, Wendell.
Yeah.
I believe it. Wendell would have left. Wendell, we need to get you a camping heater. That's what you need. One of those little propane heaters, and that will keep you there. Okay.
Yeah, I've got to.
I can teach you some things, Wendell. Okay. That's funny.
I had been 2 months since I worked on walking sticks. Since I started this cough, I couldn't even get outside because of it.
No, no. Oh no. Listen, my walking stick's got little, you can see where you say that it was worms, like where worms are kind of
Yeah.
chiseled into it. It's beautiful. I know that sounds weird, y'all. Worms eating their way through wood is beautiful. It
Yeah,
just is. I'm gonna put some pictures up on social media tomorrow. I'm probably gonna go use that stick tomorrow again. I'm gonna do some hiking tomorrow.
up there in Missouri, I had a median read mine. I knew that it was from storage because it's cedar. And worms normally stay away from cedar.
Uh-huh.
And it is just ate up all over it with worms. And it's got spiders.
With worms.
But that median read it. She said, "This is special for you. It is telling a story in ancient language, and it will be revealed to you in time." And I was holding it as she was touching. And I kid you not, I nearly went to the ground with what's called it. It was like electricity running through me. But it was a good feeling. It wasn't a bad feeling. Well, another guy asked if he could hold it while she was reading it. And he touched it with one hand, and I mean, he immediately let it go and grabbed the side. He said, "Man, it hurt him bad."
Oh no.
Yeah, it didn't like him at all. But she told me never get rid of it, that it was special for me. And I even sleep with it. When I take it to Dogman Ranch, I keep it in my bed with me.
It's your protection. It's almost like your little energetic cattle prod or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. In the wrong hands, it will shock you. Okay. Yeah. I like that.
It bit him, that's for sure. And I mean, he turned loose immediately and grabbed his side and said, "That hurt."
Uh-oh.
It was a good feeling to me, but it was like electricity went through.
Because you got that, I don't know, it's a frequency thing, maybe.
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually it will tell me the story, and it's in an ancient language. So they do not. Worms usually don't. Well, bugs, any kind of bugs don't like cedar. That's why they make cedar closets and cedar chests. Keep the bugs.
Oh, cedar actually it protects against like bad entities and stuff too. I used to have a cedar necklace. It was a Native American, I think it was Navajo, if I'm not mistaken. It was a necklace made of cedar beads, and it was, I can't remember if it was called like a spirit necklace, or I can't remember. But I actually sold it in my shop eventually, because I was like, well, I don't know why I sold that thing. I sold it because it was in I have a shop where I sell like vintage jewelry and stuff, y'all. And it was so beautiful. And I was like, I didn't wear it very often. I should have kept it because I need it when I'm out in the woods now. But anyways.
People would ask me, and I said, "Yeah, I'll sell it for $200." And they didn't want to pay that much, but then she told me, I'm not going to get rid of it, so I won't even sell it for that now. I won't sell it at all now. And I've added a little more to it since then.
I wouldn't sell it either. That's a special one.
Yeah, it's very special.
Ghost beads. That's it. Thank you, Colleen. The ghost beads. Yeah, I said spirit beads. Yeah, the ghost beads. I need to get some more of them for sure.
Yeah. Before March, I got to get some welcome sticks.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Jessica is right about cedar keeping bad spirits away. Yes. A lot of time, I mean, a long time we used to have like cedar chests and stuff, like my great grandparents and my grandparents always had a cedar chest to put their stuff in. So I don't know. Cedar's pretty. It's very, very beautiful.
Like I said, it's also like to keep bugs out, and yet And what's funny, over at the ranch, there was one tree. There's two trees right there together, but this one tree is the one that all the worms are working on. They
Oh
don't
yeah.
touch the other tree. They don't touch any other trees back on the anywhere else on the ranch. It's just that one tree. So every time I trim limbs off of it, if I can make a walking stick out of it, I do.
Oh my gosh. You source it directly from the tree with the worms in it. I like that. Man, they're very special. You can tell. I mean, I know you put a lot of time and love into those sticks. I know
And
you do.
I love
Yeah.
sand them down, put 2 coats of primer and 5 coats of lacquer.
Oh yeah. I know this doesn't have. I guess it just does connect to that. I had my friend Mike Tornincasa. He's out of Ohio. He's a field researcher, and he was talking about Bigfoot. I don't know if he had this experience. I can't remember how the conversation went. He was talking about Bigfoot's having these like wands, like a staff that they were using to like kind of open portals with and stuff. I think that I can't remember the exact testimony that he was telling, but I do remember him talking about them having like a wooden staff, kind of like a walking stick a little bit, but it was like they were waving them around and portals were opening, he said.
Or shaman, whichever one you want to call it.
Yes, that's what he was talking about.
They're the shaman and the staff. Or a seer, whatever you want to call it. But they'll use the staff.
Yeah.
I've actually heard of other just regular Bigfoot using them. But the majority of them is the shaman. A lot to learn. And if people will, you got to pick and choose who you listen to. I'll agree with that. There's a lot of people out here that's faking stuff constantly. And sad stuff, there's one right here in Oklahoma. I can't stand it. Got an Okie that's faking stuff like he is. But you pick who you listen to and who you want. You'll learn if you go out and just watch. Don't try to be running all over the place. Just watch. You will learn. There's so much to learn about our world that we'll never know it all. The only time we'll know it all is when God tells us.
That's right. I don't know nothing about nothing, Gary, but I'm learning.
If you don't learn every day, something's wrong.
That's right. That's why everybody, y'all keep tuning into our shows and stuff, okay? Because I'm learning with everybody, okay, from people like Gary, and I'm loving it. I love it. I've had the best time tonight talking with you, Gary. I want to thank you so much for being here.
Welcome, and I enjoyed being here.
Well,
And
thank you.
just like I said earlier, I try to make all your shows, but especially the new ones, I can't make the new ones.
It's okay. I forgive you.
I
Gary, so I don't expect you to be here on my shows, but I do love to see you when you're in the chat though.
Well, it's kind of hard on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm on 8 shows. 6 of them. And it's hard to make everybody's shows.
You are y'all, for anyone who's not familiar, Gary Spikes Sr. is a moderator on a bunch of channels. Okay. So you are famous for being in the chats on everybody's. I swear you are, Gary. Everybody know. I knew you in the chat before I ever got to meet you for years. Yeah.
Finally got a picture with Miss Jessica.
We do. I meant to pull that up tonight and I forgot to upload it. We got pictures together. We have proof that we have met in person, Gary.
And that was before I had this last surgery, gained so much weight. It's been fun, Jessica.
Well, thank you.
your show of Cedar Creek Farmstead Bottoms, you don't put out the bad stuff all the time. You put out the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I like. I like the shows that put out the good stuff along with, yeah, you can put out the bad too, but put out the good stuff.
Yes. Well, I like to keep it positive. And actually I do. I know we talk about a lot of kind of scary stuff on my channel too, but we always shine a light on it, and we don't keep it scary. We try to leave on good vibes. Keep your vibrations high. That's what Jane Shiro Sound says. Hey Jane, I see you in here. Thank you. It's we keep the vibrations high. And there's just so much darkness and so much negativity in this world, Gary, that there's no point in being Debbie Downers and talking about all the negative stuff all the time.
Count your blessings instead of your heartaches. And that's another good show.
Yeah.
Blood Watchers. I go to their show every chance I get.
Mm-hmm.
But the late shows, I can't handle the real late shows.
We're late tonight, Gary.
I know.
We're way past my bedtime. I don't know about you. We're just we you know what? I lose track of time when I'm having fun on these shows. This is my only really late show is on Saturdays. So yeah, and I know I got to get up early tomorrow. I got some tentative plans tomorrow that may involve going to the woods somewhere. So I don't know. I'm going to take my walking stick with me.
Got my adopted daughter's coming down tomorrow. I'm going to get to see her. I don't get to see her very often.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. We got a holiday on Monday, so my son doesn't have school on Monday. So, but I do have a show on Monday though. I got Mr. Robert Coley coming back. We're gonna. He's got a picture of, and I've got a picture of an actual mantid ET in his lab, y'all. We're gonna talk about that on Monday. That's gonna be crazy.
I didn't talk about the UFOs I've seen.
Do you have UFOs out at your house?
I actually saw one here at my house yesterday.
Really? Yesterday?
Yeah.
You didn't even tell us about it. What?
Well, me and my son. Well, no, it wasn't yesterday. It was this morning. Today's Saturday, isn't it?
Today's it's Sunday now over here where I live. It's already Sunday in Georgia. You got a few more minutes till Sunday.
I hear behind the house when I happened to look up in the sky, and there was something silver up there, but it was not leaving a trail like a plane. And then all of a sudden it was gone. I mean, just literally gone. It wasn't there anymore. I don't know what it was. I have no idea what it was. It was just something silver up there, and then it was gone.
Oh my gosh. Man, it was there 1 second and then it was gone.
Right. It was there 1 second and it was gone. And a big jet airliner is going to leave trails, and vapor trails, and there was no vapor trail anywhere in the sky.
Huh.
I saw others that night that the Bigfoot was rubbing my tent with his foot earlier before we went to bed. We saw 3 UFOs. We have no idea what it was. I don't know. That's why I call it a UFO. We have no idea what it was. They were just above the tree line, back to the north up there.
That's all we oftentimes get UFO activity with the Bigfoot activity, Gary.
Yeah, we do.
And Dogman too. Dogman and in UFOs too.
Wendell was there. We were at the Anniston conference this last June.
Alabama.
And a friend of mine, I had to go to the restroom. I was running the table, of course. A friend of mine was sitting at the table while I went to the restroom. And when I come back, I got over by the table, and he had a shocked look on his face. I said, "What?" He said, "There was 2 orbs following you."
Oh.
To
the bathroom?
I can't bathroom back up there. It's a long walk. The bathroom's way up there in the building.
They followed you from the bathroom ghosts. They
Yeah,
latched on.
the back. Hey, Gene told me later it was the Bigfoot watching over me. They'd turned
Those are your bodyguards, Gary.
guards. But
Security.
just open, what in the world? To myself, you know. And said what to him? And he said, "There's two horses following you. They were right behind you."
Oh my gosh. I tell you what, I love hearing all your encounters and stuff, Gary. It's amazing. And I believe it. I absolutely believe it. Will you please come back and hang out with me again in the next few weeks, please?
Yeah,
Okay.
Stories.
Well, listen, you've got so many events and stuff coming up. I know you're going to have a lot more stuff to talk about too. So hopefully I will see you in April. I'm going to try to go to that. Okay. But we'll see if I can make it happen. I'm going to try to go up there and see LBL.
Remember, you got to go sign up this time.
I'll sign up. I'd sign up. Okay. Just remind me.
It's 12 hours. Well, pulling this trailer probably 13 hours for me.
With your new camper, though, you're going to have a camper, which is amazing. So
Yeah.
congrats on your camper. Hey, if you don't have any roommates, I might need a place to sleep. You got room?
I hope my daughter go with me.
Oh man, that's awesome. I need to get my own camper actually. That's something that's on my list.
There's a queen size bed and 2 bunk beds. You're welcome to one of the other bunk beds. If my daughter's there, she'll get the bed, the queen size.
One of them bunk beds. Okay, I'll take it. Oh my God, that's so sweet, Gary. I appreciate it. But nonetheless, I'm sure that we will cross paths
Oh,
in
yeah.
another event soon. We always do, don't we?
Oh, we do.
We
Yep.
do.
Down in Alabama.
Yes, I'm gonna try to come up there. I'm gonna go to Brown Springs one day too. So
When you gotta go to Brown Springs, you just holler at me and I'll take you down there. It's an hour and 15 minutes from my house.
I'll bring Wendell with me. Me and Wendell right up there together, right, Wendell? I see you in here. Okay. Oh my gosh. Well, Gary, do you have any final thoughts tonight? Any kind of words of wisdom for our audience tonight? We've had a wonderful audience, wonderful chat, best chat on the internet, by the way. Any final thoughts tonight?
Same thing I said earlier. Show them respect and they will respect you. And do not show fear. Just ignore them when you know they're there. If they want you to see them, they'll let you see them. And if they want you to see a footprint, they'll leave a footprint for you. But you've got to, the main thing is respect. You have to respect.
Mm-hmm.
That means don't try to take a picture every time you actually see one. If you want to take pictures of their footprints, that's fine. But I never even try to take a picture of them. And that's one reason why they respect. If you ask them, if you see them and you ask them and they say you can take a picture, then take a picture. Yeah, Steve, you're right. Respect and respect.
Yeah.
Thank everybody for being here tonight.
Heck yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for being here tonight, Gary. Thank you so much. And yes, Steve Wolf, I saw my PayPal popped up over here a while ago. Thank you so much for that donation, for your support. I just love you, Steve. You're so sweet. I so much appreciate that. And also, Colleen too, real quick. Thank you, Colleen, for that super sticker. That is so sweet. I want to thank everybody so much for being here tonight. And words of wisdom, Gary. I just absolutely just adore it. I'm so glad that you are here with me tonight. And so thank you so much. Please come back soon. And I want to thank everybody who gave super stickers tonight too. Let me go down the list real quick. Bigfoot fans. Thank you so much. Sherry Griffey, thank you so much. And Gary, thank you for gifting those memberships tonight. Nathan Davis, thank you so much. And let's see, Michelle, thank you so much. And Larry Sharp is a member of the Hunt Club for 21 months. You're at that's a record, man. Thank you so much for that. and Colleen and anybody else. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Steve Wolf, thank you too. And yeah, I want everybody to have a wonderful night. And please stay safe out there, y'all. And come back and see me. Enjoy your holiday. A lot of us do have a holiday on Monday. And so yeah, please stay safe out there. Come back and see me on Monday, though. I will have a live show, 1 p.m. with Dr. I don't know if he's a doctor, actually. Mr. Richard Cole. Is it Richard Coley? Oh, my God. I'm having a senior moment, y'all. But we're Mr. Coley. He's been here. We are going to talk about his mantid that was in his lab. I think it was in North Georgia. He lives up in North Georgia, and I met him at the UFO conference. He was friends with James Rink, y'all. As a matter of fact, he's been on the show before. He's into the robotics, travels the world with the robot stuff. Okay, so yeah, y'all come see me there. And Gary, we'll see you in the chats in the future and at some of these events. And so, Gary, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being here tonight. I appreciate it. And thank you for staying up late with me.
Anytime.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much. All right, y'all. What's up, Drewski? I see you. What's up, everybody? Good night, Wendell. And stay safe out there. Don't live in fear. And remember, respect, y'all. RESPECT. I will see you guys on Monday. And yeah. All right. Everybody have a good night. Bye. Bye, Gary.
Bye.